Hola, señor.
Hello there, we're not just live yet, but yeah, we're coming live soon. But yeah, we can talk over the screen, that's not a problem. I'm just setting a few things up.
Oh, take your time.
I'm taking my time. I am.
Oof. Yes, finally stable internet.
Hooray.
I honestly don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is, but Vodafone doesn't believe me.
Ah, well, such is life.
No, it's this and this, and like every time we call, they just change the frequency that the router is sending the Wi-Fi signal out on. It's like, that is not the issue. I am an ITer. I do this for a living.
But they know better.
Yeah, obviously. The problem is, I know how these things work, and if you call like a customer support line, 9 times out of 10, that's actually probably even pretty generous. It's probably even more than that. You're gonna get like a call center employee on the line who just has like a checklist they go through. They have absolutely no idea of the technology behind what they're doing is.
I can imagine.
But yeah. So there was the tiny little like computer repair shop. It's not far from you because I passed your place today.
Okay.
If you go from your place to kind of.
Hello everybody, we are streaming today and this is a surprise stream. Hello there, Tenor Gaming. Hello, Jessica. You were just about to be productive and read. Well, you can read. You can totally read. I'm not going to be saying anything awesome and I'm not going to be showing anything great. I'm just going to be inviting you to take a quick look at a very relaxed and very casual, but still fun tournament organized by Oba and the Belgian, the Brussels meta folks. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to have a triple core tournament. It has a cute name. The Newbies strike back May 13th. So May the 13th be with you or something. Although I think then the Disney lawyers are gonna get on us. So maybe let's not talk about this much. I'm gonna be joined by Thomas today, by Cluster Fox, who's probably gonna tell us a few things about Antwerp. And yeah, hello, you person with a cable. but you know that the internet is all about electricity going back and forth and so on, you know? So it's not never stable. Or electricity or signals, I don't even know. Well, anyway. So today we have a tournament of triple core decks. They're going to be quite easy going about things. We only have 8 players. It's purely casual. It's purely fun. It's purely to just keep going with the streams as well, so that I don't forget how this works. And do you have any particular, favorites in this field? Yeah. The one Neo, Zanetti 83, Obe 88, yeah, Nuts.x. I think that person played in the previous one. But yeah. Ah.
Lost every single game, but yeah. I did have a lot of fun, and I met a lot of people, and it's a great way to learn Netrunner, to play the same deck for a couple of games after each other, so you know you can kind of start identifying where problems are, where the things that work in the deck, and you play against a lot of different decks, so you can kind of pick up on different strategies and different archetypes and different builds and different ways to play the game. So yeah, it's a good time, and if anybody listening is interested, we're running a Star Championship online via Jinteki and Discord this Saturday. You can look it up on Always Be Running, and feel free to sign up and play along.
You totally should, because I think it's going to be quite fun. I'm definitely going to be streaming. I'm not going to be playing because I might be playing at an event on Sunday, and there's only so many events I can rack my brains for. But definitely streaming on Saturday, unless something weird happens. We had some audio issues, by the way, so I'm really sorry if people were super duper confused. But we should be fine now. And this is basically because my setup here is changing every single day. I'm trying something new with the audio in different places for different reasons. So that's my fault, and I'm sorry for that. I'm taking a very quick look at what's his name? Where were we? JNet, and I don't see any games just being set up right now. I do see the players on Discord hanging out in the main room on their Discord server. Okay, so actually we got all the rules here. I'm gonna read them out for you. Decks must be triple times system core, so only 3 copies of system core, nothing else. No changing of the decks between rounds. 3 rounds of 70 minutes, or until all results have been reported.
I'm gonna quickly jump in here. He just copied and pasted it from last time. It's 2 rounds.
It's gonna be only 2. Okay. Fair enough. Sad. I mean, one more round of Netrunner would be fun, but still, it is what it is, and we're gonna enjoy it. We have the TO, we have how brackets, how the Cobra brackets regulate who creates the tables and so on. Just going through the rules very, very quickly. This is all very nicely organized because it's clear to read, and I just don't want to skip anything. But yeah, no prizes whatsoever. So like you said, this is a purely casual thing and so on. But I have to say, I mean, they're using Cobra and there are points involved. So for me, it's a tournament. It counts. I mean, where does a tournament start? Where does it end, right? Oh, by the way, Tenor Gaming, I think if you are on Discord, no, you should be. Oh no, you're not. But yeah, sorry, we had some technical issues here. Twitch has its own audio settings. I have my own audio settings. Everything has its own audio settings. The whole world has a volume dial, so there. But yeah, if everything works on your side, it should work only on my side. Oh, sorry, also on my side. And let me just see if there's anything going on. No, we still don't have anybody setting any games up. But that's fine. How are you all doing, dear folks, on the stream with all the quarantine stuff, huh? Anybody with any new adventures or anything new to report? I've been basically trying to prepare to be out more than only once a day, and today I skipped my out time because it was raining, and I was like, nah, I have things to do. I had a project on the side to finish as well, and I couldn't really go out. But yeah, it worked out just fine. As for the Antwerp,
Did it rain today? I completely missed that.
It did. I think there was a storm at night, and then in the morning here, at least, it was a bit rainy. But yeah, the morning then was beautiful. But I was already working. I was like, oh, okay. I woke up at like 9 something because last night was a bit longer.
Yeah, there was a pretty cool thunderstorm here last night. Lightning, thunder. It rained pretty hard. But yeah, I slept in today, so when I woke up, it was sunny.
Well, you like playing sunny, so it might make sense, no?
See what you did there.
Surprise. While we're waiting for this to kick off, alright, yes, we're setting Discords up and whatnot. I'm actually going to be experimenting for the next lockdown whenever it happens, probably on the 30th, which is going to be in 17 days, which gives me enough time to prepare and send emails and whatnot. I'm going to experiment with the Discord roles and so on so that I actually don't message everybody, because I had this technical issue the other day. The Discord server that we were using for this tournament has like, I don't know, like quite like 140 people or something. And I just went at everyone, and then I was like, wait a second, I just sent, did I just send a message? Or did I just ping 100 and something 40 people? Oops, that's bad. So yeah, I'm gonna be figuring the technicalities out for this, for the next time. But for today, we're not gonna be pinging anybody. This is organized on a separate server. People are super chill about this one. It's gonna be fine. And it's gonna be fun.
If you ping everyone in the Nice Discord server, that's a lot of people.
Well, I mean, maybe we can sell them something. Buy my stuff. I have tokens to sell now. Well, anyway. Yeah, exactly. And we have already here nuts.exe claiming, if I win, it definitely was a tournament. Of course, for me, this is SC. Like, you have 8 people competing. Absolutely makes sense. It doesn't really matter that we're not selling in a store.
This is not being played on the Nice Discord. This is on our local Belgian Discord, which has a really weird name, which I'm not going to get into now. But yeah,
basically, it's your username, right? Yeah. So yeah, well, that's it.
It's inside joke from a tournament that we went to in Eastern Europe like 5 years ago. But yeah, so there are a lot of people, or several people here who are not Belgian. Cook Ed is, I believe, British. Wink Nugget is American. He is from, I played against him recently. I can't remember exactly where, but yeah, he's from America somewhere. So, but definitely a lot of Belgian players here as well, which is nice. And I like the fact that Alba Julien, he organizes these beginner events from time to time, like every 2 weeks or so, which is good for people who are learning the game. I mean, if you're stuck in lockdown, don't have much to do, you get bored, look into, well, what's a nice game that I could learn to play? Netrunner is absolutely fantastic as a game to get your head around and learn to play.
I was going to say you could try Monopoly or Risk, but then you would lose friends and alienate people, so maybe not a good idea. Indeed, Netrunner is good if you have another player to check out, or, well, a player next to you, to explain things, or you could just go online, absolutely. Makes perfect sense. We should have opened a university for people. I'll give you a bit of a scoop. I was drafting things for teaching the game in a way, using the stream, or not stream, but like video materials. But then stuff happened, and I was like, okay, this has to wait a bit, and now I'm in the middle of doing something else, so I'm gonna get to it. Working on it slowly. But absolutely, I love this idea of just letting people play for fun and invite them to explore what the game is, and have this actually with players who know the game quite well as well, which I think is good, because ideally, you would have a tournament an event where every new player is first paired with a player that explains the game and walks them through everything, and then plays a demo game with them, and then you pair the people who never played it before, they just got the explanation, you pair them against each other, and maybe help out a bit, but yeah. It is always tough for people, at least from my experience when I explain the game, it's always a bit tougher for people to get how the corp side works, and they're a bit worried about the hidden information, but then they just get it, especially if their experience in board games is a bit, if they're a bit more experienced in board games, then they are way more relaxed about playing a game where you put cards upside down and you have to remember certain things and you have to sometimes check complex text. Yeah, so teaching Netrunner to an experienced gamer a bit easier, but this should not discourage anybody who has never played any games and wants to learn Netrunner. Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
We're getting to the stage where we're going to be pairing.
I am going to let's see. You
are going to, absolutely.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
No worries.
Gonna jump into the Discord chat here for a second.
Sure thing. Oh, did we just break Cobra? By the way, a huge thanks to Jono. I know he might not be listening, but I have to say it, and this way we're gonna have a recording of this. Huge thanks to Jono because he helped me a lot conclude the last Iberian lockdown, number 4. Just because I kept using a certain procedure or a certain flow to making a custom top 4 that really didn't work well with the platform. So it theoretically worked, but then it kind of broke the finishing of the tournament. But thanks to Jono and his expert help on the platform he created, it was fairly easy to save everything, reconstruct the things that I broke first, and yeah, it works. So people can claim now, if you played an Iberian Lockdown the other day, number 4, the last one, because we're gonna keep the format, keep the structure, everything's gonna be the same. I just want to change the name. Iberian Lockdown, I don't know. It kind of sounds like there should be something more Iberian about it, and there's actually nothing, and I feel a bit silly about it, because there's probably better ways. But it's like, Pandemic Iberia, the board game, it's happening in Iberia, like on the Iberian Peninsula. So yeah, but whereas Iberian Lockdown's like, yeah, okay, this dude's in Barcelona. He's not Spanish, he's not Portuguese, he's not Catalan, he's not Basque, he's not anybody. He just lives in Barcelona, which is, not a big achievement. So I'm gonna change the name for sure. Okay. And by the way, as a reminder, I'm gonna remind you all, folks, that Sunday there will probably also be a stream from the the Bern Store Championship, which is happening in Switzerland, of course, but it's not the Swiss Nationals just yet. It's a store championship organized usually in a lovely little shop called, and I'm gonna totally butcher it, Dreschnacht or something. Well, basically Dragon's Nest, the Dragon's Nest, which is in downtown Bern, and it's really awesome, and I like the shop a lot. We have an agent over there, and Simone is going to be running this, and the tournament's going to be quite interesting. Are you back? You're back, huh? Or am I? I'm not just letting you cut in. That's it. I'm just blabbling.
No, it's fine. I'm going to really quickly before the game start, take a bio break and plug my phone in. So I'll be right back.
Sure thing. I'm just checking if there are any pairings on, but I think we don't have any just yet. And we have 10 players now, by the way. Ooh, we have new names in the field. And I actually don't even know who's the new people. I think there's like one more person from the Italian meta, and then there's, I think it's Ivor who joined in as well. Well, anyway, this is gonna be interesting. And thank you for the kind words about Iberian Lockdown being a great name. I think the lockdown part is cool. Iberian is kind of I basically took it from, like the idea of the name from William Gibson's way of writing about stuff back in the 90s, where everything was like a German coffee maker, and an Italian this, and a Brazilian this, because when he was writing his books back in the day, the 2 trilogies, he was basically highlighting the fact that we were slowly entering, in many different ways, a post-geographical world where it doesn't really, or maybe it does matter, but it stops actually to matter where you're from or where you were born, because it's so easy to be anywhere else doing something else in a totally different culture. And we are in a world like this, you know, you can still throw around adjectives, but I think they mostly apply to cuisine and culture and so on, and they don't really apply to, I don't know, super serious things like I lived my whole life in there, or, you know, so yeah. Anyway, all those literary chats aside, let's take a look if the pairings are up. Hello. They're still setting up, oh, of course, because they added 2 extra people. Do you see the pairings? I don't see the pairings. Nobody can see the pairings. Maybe. Maybe we broke Cobra again. Don't tell anybody. I'm going to do some magics in the background. Not with Cobra because I'm not such a magician, but with my browsers. Oh, there we go. Pairings are up. Haha. See, I knew exactly what to do. Okay, dear folks, the pairings are up. We're going for the first round of 2, and I don't know which table should we choose. I don't even know what IDs are in play. Let me just take a quick look. This is, of course, the. Yeah, we have 4 Waylands, 6 Waylands, haha. 2 Jintekis, 1 Hasbiroid, and 1 NBN. And then some Crims, some Anarchs, and yeah. And some, well, this is a nice even split. Although I kind of feel bad for Hasbiroid and NBN, so maybe we're gonna watch one of these games, huh? Let's just jump into the live tables and let's see who is where. Table 5, okay, we're gonna go for table 5. I'm gonna ask if table 5 is okay. Oh, well, let's wait because we need to have both. We should have both opponents, or both participants, should I say, because they're not really opposing much, they're just having fun. Oh. Casual is the name of the game today, and core casual core. That's what's gonna be happening here. We're gonna be having fun. Oh, it's cooked. Okay, yeah. So yeah, of course, two veterans of being on stream, I would say. Well, maybe not veterans, but definitely players we've had here before. I'm not gonna be putting any timers on, by the way. Each round is 70 minutes, but I'm fine with not running a timer. You know, it's what, Thursday evening. Let's chill, right? No, it's Wednesday. Excuse me. Poof. Now you know I lived in a different time zone for a second. Okay. Clusterfucks are back. We lost them. The BioBreak must have done terrible things to him. I mean, I hope not, but hey, who knows? Let's take a quickie look at what these 2 players are on today. And again, I don't have the deck list because they're going to be triple cores, but actually I have no idea what decks they're playing. We're just going to see when they start the game, and that's going to be it. As a reminder, we have Building a Better World, Empowering the Future as Wayland identities, Personal Evolution, Replicating Perfection, Stronger Together for Hasbiroid, Making Use for NBN, and then there's Leela Patel and Gabriel Santiago representing the criminals, Quetzal and Reina Roja for the Anarchs, and Real, Kit Peddler, and Chaos Theory for the Shapers. These are the IDs for today, and we have a Blue Sun versus Leela. Okay, and I should be killing the music. I hope the stream is working okay. I'm gonna strike the music down with my mighty button click and whatnot. Clusterfucks, are you back now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are. Okay, perfect. Sorry,
I'm sitting outside and it's quite windy in Barcelona today, so
not my
I've
fault.
got like a sort of construction thing going on here, and it just blew down. So
the other day in Poland, and this is gonna be because I got photos from friends and family, and then I checked the media as well. Apparently, on the same day, in the morning, it was snowed in. Like, not super much, but like there was snow literally covering stuff, and it was quite a lot of it. There was quite a lot of it. And then at like 3 in the afternoon, it was sunny, nice, springy, almost summery, and people were just going, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, I saw pictures from Canadian friends of mine a couple of days ago that there were blizzards there. And it was just like, this is May. There are blizzards in Canada. Okay, I'm sitting outside in 20-degree weather. This seems normal.
I like the comments in the room. By the way, we're watching table 5 in case you want to jump into the table. Otherwise, of course, I'm going to keep the stream up. No worries whatsoever. But yeah, I like the comments in there. I could play today, but I would be probably very boring playing those decks because, they're just good Netrunner and I'm bad at good Netrunner. I'm fun with broken ideas that don't work. Maybe I should have a stream about this. No, we have loads of lovely people doing streams like this already, and that would be not adding any value to anybody watching me struggle with those decks. I think, like you said earlier on, the round starts now indeed. So there are quite a few people, not the two we're going to be watching here right now, but there are quite a few people who are new to the game and also rather new to JNet. So they may have a few different things to figure out. And again, not on this table because these players know this platform quite well, I would say. But I'm actually quite curious. Yeah, I mean, I think the next round, or if we jump into a table with completely new players who don't have any help and they need help, we're gonna just jump in the chat and help them out as much as we can to try out, support. JNet support. Yeah, it's like, excuse me, Yuri, JNet support. What can I help you with? Oh, the server is not resolving. Well, have you tried jacking out and maybe undoing the click first? Can you please undo them?
Click out and click in again.
Oh, you're telling me that StemHack gave you 3 brain damage? Oh, because you run a double advanced cerebral overwriter. Well, sir, excuse me, this is actually an expected outcome of this.
I work in IT tech support, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I know it's a meme. Have you tried turning it off and on again? But you have no idea how many problems that solves.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not only IT, it's also politics, economy, many things. But yeah, not bread though. Fair. You can, you know why you cannot fix like moldy bread with this? Because you cannot turn bread off. Basically, bread is always on. That's it. Okay.
That's true. Hang on, I'm gonna quickly help out with the timer here.
Yeah, sure. Just in case you're wondering, by the way, people of the stream, why is Thomas jumping in and out and helping out? Because he's just such a lovely person who's just the soul of the community in many different places, including Belgium. And, he would be very, very unhappy if things went wrong. So he's a natural helper, this person. But anyway, they're remaking. Okay, whoa, what happened here? They remade the table. Whoops. Okay. So we're gonna remake. Let's watch this. We're jumping out of the table, we're jumping into the table, and they already started. Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, and we can see the hands. Sweet. Should we be commenting on this though? Like, I don't want to be commenting on somebody's hands here. I don't know. It's kind of like, what if they're listening to the stream? Maybe they're not. Theory of Peshings. So basically, a very cool event that allows you to just hop over a piece of ice. The other type of inside job, and that totally pays off because that iron, the ice is gonna go out. Ooh, this is painful. This is not good. This is just rude. Very, very strong start for Leela. Not such a good start for Wayland Consortium. Okay, there was a deck change. I thought it was a Blue Sun, but it's actually a regular Burning a Battle World here. So who's your favorite in this matchup? Knowing the triple core meta a bit.
I think Building a Better World is a very solid pick. Generally, in this kind of format, with this kind of deck, I mean, there's of course a whole host of different ways you could play it, but a very effective way is just rushing, getting a lot of money, and trying to kill them with punitive.
Yep. Transaction operations.
But I do kind of have a sort of sort of favoritism for Leela. It's a deck that in my particular home meta is an identity that's been played quite a lot to pretty good success over the past couple of years. And I just really like Leela. It's an ability that makes the corp play in a different way.
It's a very passive-aggressive ability in a way.
Well, it gives you a bit more time to set up. Like, you don't have to be aggressive immediately. For example, I would say that this is a mistake. Because you want that HQ ice to be unrest so that you can bounce it with Leela's ability. Now, I'm not sure if there's any sort of credit denial punishment in System Core. So I'm not really sure if it matters. Like, one of the things you used to be able to do is just, you could wait for Turtle to set up some board state.
Yep.
And if they tried to score out an agenda, you bounce the HQ ice and then a count siphon or diversion of funds or anything like that. I doubt those cards are in the core set, so it might not matter that much. But it kind of depends on what server you're attacking. You can let them score out a first agenda, and then you can get tempo off of that.
Yep.
And sometimes it just works. The first very well known Leela deck was by a man named Dave Hoyland, who was a British player, and it was a deck that made, I believe it was second at Worlds when everybody thought Leela was garbage. And he came second at Worlds or Euros. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Worlds. With a deck called the Endless Waltz, and that is just the fantastic. Okay, that agenda gets stolen, so we'll bounce HQ, a count siphon, then we'll run again. Oh, there's another agenda, bounce R&D. Oh, we'll run that again. There's another agenda, and you can sometimes, if you get lucky, you can keep bouncing things back to hand.
Yeah.
And I will not say that it is the strongest criminal ability, but I do appreciate the fact that it is still in the card pool, and I hope Nisei continues to keep Leela in the card pool because it's just such a different ability compared to other runners, that just having the option in the card pool that you kind of have to be wary of it. Because playing a Scorp against Leela is very different than playing against any other kind of criminal.
It's absolutely a different type of tempo. I agree, and I hope Leela stays with us as well. We'll see. In the meantime, we have a very bold attack here on a double protected server 3 with an agenda with an Oaktown in it, and unfortunately for Wayland, for the corp here, the runner will be able to get through this through a combo of Inside Job and Abanail being just strong enough and having just the right amount of money to get into that remote. But now the runner is on 0 credits, so also nothing to bounce, and that double res was there for a reason. The corp was saving their time, and now they're in a slightly better position with 5 credits and a developing board state, whereas Leela is sitting on virtually no money and very little cards on the table as well.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Well, an option here would be indeed to career fair out that Earthrise Hotel. Career Fair is a fantastic economy card. In System Core, absolutely, but even outside of that, it's a 1 influence card. It's basically 3 free credits that lets you install things. A good maybe rule of thumb for people at home is, if you're going to play Career Fair, it's absolutely splashable, by which I mean it's absolutely always a fair idea to play Career Fairs out of faction in Shapers or Criminals, or Shapers or Anarchs. But you should have at least 6 targets for it. So if you play 3 Daily Casts, 3 Earthrise, and another card that costs at least, another resource that costs at least 3, then it's a good idea to play Career Fairs, because it will save you a lot of money.
Yeah, that I totally agree with as well. Yeah, the usual problem with cards like this for me is that they need a target, or you need them to get that discount. But like you said, if you have enough of a particular type of card in your deck, you will sooner or later get that combo, and that is a nice bump, because 3 credits is a good sum of credits to keep in your bank, especially when you have to contest servers. We have a question on the stream. Are new cards coming? For the production was cancelled. So, Netrunner Gaming, for your information, there will be, and Jessica already answered, thank you so much. But yeah, there will be new sets of cards coming indeed. We had a set called Ashes out, ran by the community, by Nisei, well, over the last quarter of last year, basically, we had, I don't even remember how many new cards. I don't remember, like quite a few new cards entering the game in 2 packs.
Basically, instead of 6 data packs, it was 3 sets of 3 data packs, the equivalent of that in cards.
Indeed. And yeah, so we had exactly that. And then there will be the second part of it. So after Ashes, there will be a codename Borealis coming up later this year. And then there will be System Gateway, which is going to be also a bunch of completely new cards that are going to be geared towards introducing the game to people who have never played it in a neat package. And more on that later this month, hopefully, or later next month. There's going to be some updates around this. Whereas this tournament is using the so-called core set put together by the Nisei development group, which means there are cards from several previous releases here. Because we're quite spread. Abanail was Terminal Directive, so yeah. But these are all cards released officially back in the day by Fantasy Flight Games and put together in a slightly different mix to make the experience easier to digest and also enjoyable and balanced above all for players who want to check the game out. So there we go.
Alright, so getting back to the game, a couple of things that I want to point out is that the Corp has 2 pad campaigns ticking, which is basically for the Corp sustainable economy. As long as the runner doesn't go and trash them, they will get a credit per turn for each of those. Also on the runner side, we see Katie Jones, which is also a form of sustainable economy in the sense that if things like Sure Gamble or I can't remember what it's called. It doesn't matter. But you can play cards that will give you economy. But of course, once you play them, they're largely gone. While Katie Jones, you can spend a click every turn to put 3 credits on her, and then at a later turn, you can spend a click to gain all the money from that. So that gives you basically unlimited economy, but it takes time to build up.
Indeed.
And we're seeing a run here on the remote server that has an agenda in it. I believe it's a priority requisition, but there's an Ash in that server, which means that the runner has to beat the trace on Ash to be able to access other cards in that server. So it's a protective upgrade, protecting that specific big agenda there.
Big agenda. Indeed.
And the runner now no longer has the economy to get into that server again, which means that Zanetti will be able to score that big boy out next turn, putting him on 5 points within reach of winning the game. And as I mentioned, for the people at home, you can see that the core player does have a punitive counter-strike in hand. And with an identity like Building a Better World, which every time you play a transaction, and there are quite a few of them, you gain an extra credit. So this deck basically just gets money, tries to score out. This was a questionable choice, I believe. Well, the runner only has 1 credit. So, the Corp does have a bit of time to just build up defenses right now and can score that agenda out next turn.
The thing is,
and of course, priority requisition, when you score it, you can res a piece of ice ignoring all costs. And if you don't have a piece of ice to res with it, then it's kind of a waste.
Indeed.
So, scoring that now, he is able to res a juicy 8-cost toll booth, which is going to make it very difficult for the runner to get into that server again.
Yeah, so very good explanation. Thank you so much, Thomas. And now the runner will probably have to put some more pressure on R&D because that server is the remote server number 3 is quite big. But they can also put some pressure on HQ, indeed, with the legwork, which is one of criminal specialties, basically accessing additional HQ cards and annoying the corp to no end. Because you do the legwork, you get into the corporate facilities, and you win by stealing the 3-pointer. Well, well played, Cooked. Really close game. It was 5 points on the corp side, and then they just fished. The runner just fished out that one last agenda to close it all out. Interesting. But yeah, I think putting more defenses on HQ could have been probably a better play in hindsight. But of course, in hindsight, everything makes way more sense. Let's watch the rematch. And we see Asger and Polly testing things in private. I wonder what they're going for. Sneaky! I am quite curious. Okay, now we're gonna have Blue Sun and Reina Roja, which is really cool because we have Wayland with a slightly different flavor and a very particular Anarch.
So for those at home, Reina, the first time the corp reses a piece of ice that the runner runs into, it costs 1 extra credit, which can be fairly annoying in some cases. On the other hand, we have Blue Sun, and at the start of the turn, Blue Sun can take a res card back to hand and gain credits equal to the res cost of that card. So it's this is going to be a bit of an economy war, I believe.
Yeah, it all depends on the speed of setting up for Blue Sun. Ooh, and they're going strong at it, indeed.
Well, there's no ice on R&D, just taking a quick cheeky peek at what's there, just so that the runner knows what the next card is that's coming up.
And Patchwork, I think Patchwork is my favorite Anarch console because Anarchs have this in standard. Anarchs have this bad rep of, you know, having really annoying consoles like Maw or Obelus, which just kind of break the game quite a lot. Whereas Patchwork is totally solid and legit. It just gives you a discount for installing or playing cards, but you have to trash a card, which is very Anarch in a way. I like it a lot.
It's a very good economy card as well, because you can combine it with Career Fair to install Liberated account for 1 credit instead of 6.
You're giving me ideas now.
Yeah, hey. If you Career Fair a Liberated account and then Patchwork the Liberated account, it installs for 1 credit.
Value.
It's a fun engine. I do have to say, I think that my favorite Anarch console, and I know it's an annoying one, but I do have to say it's Maw. It's a little cute little dinosaur. Look at him with his cute little.
Yeah, but my biggest gripe with Maw is that basically it kind of messes up with the way cards are accessed. Then you have to roll dice, and you kind of have to make it really random and so on and so forth. But yeah, no, I mean
Turntable is also a good console. I mean,
Turntable is good, yeah, but yeah.
So if anybody who is new following the stream, the Archer that was placed on HQ was resed by a card called Oversight AI, which allows you to res an ice for free, ignoring all costs. And in Blue Sun, because you res it for free, then you can bounce it for netto the credits of the res cost of the ice.
Yep. Which
or Archer, in Archer's case, in Archer's case, you don't have to. Normally you have to sacrifice an agenda to res it, but in this case you don't. And the drawback of Oversight AI, of course, is that if all subroutines are broken on it, then the ice gets trashed.
I think the runner is slowly realizing what's going on here. Oh, this could be over before it started, but then again, the runner was boldly going many different places and scoring agendas, and now the corp might enact revenge for all that. We'll see. And I believe indeed that this is going to be the case here. The runner went dangerously low on cards, so they only have 2 cards left, and they stole 2 points of agendas last turn.
They do have 10 credits, so they are safe from punitive.
Well, are
Well,
they
let's see.
though?
Let's
Yeah,
see what happens.
indeed. Killing me softly. Yeah, well. This is a trace 5, so you could invest everything in it and then defend yourself, maybe? I don't know. I mean, okay, no, they are safe from punitive. Or are they? Like, trace 5? I don't know. It depends. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, because Oaktown... Ooh.
There was a second punitive. That's it.
But yeah, you would need double the credits at least.
That is true.
Oaktown Renovation is a 2-point agenda, so punitive counterstrike only does 2 damage. And in the game of Netrunner, you only die if you go to -1 card. So as long as if you take 2 damage and you're holding 2 cards, go down to 0 cards, you're fine. But if you take more damage than cards that you have in your hand, then you would get what's referred to as a flatline.
Indeed, and here Renner has survived on the virtue of the amount of credits in the bank, and also the link, because Raynor has 1 link which adds to the traces on the runner side, which is very good in this case. So the punitive gets replayed, I believe, and yeah.
Just to take away some money, I'm assuming. Still not sure this is a great play. Ideally, you would save up to have enough credits to know that you can land the punitive twice.
Yeah.
But because the corp only has 3 credits and the runner has 10, this trace can easily be beat.
Yeah. Okay, so the runner surviving, and definitely a turn of drawing up and making money. Probably drawing up more than making money, but now, yeah, of course, if you spend a whole turn drawing, then the corp also has options on the table, which they of course use as well. So yeah, like you mentioned in the very start here of this particular round, or match, sorry, of this round, is, yeah, this is a money war, and both sides have some money, but I think the runner is better positioned right now because they do have 8 credits still, they have patchwork, they have R&D and HQ open, so they don't have to worry about any defenses, and they have 3 points, whereas the corp so far hasn't scored any just yet.
I find it odd that when the runner went and stole the Oaktown renovation on server 1, that they didn't res that Eli.
Maybe they...
Eli is a pretty, like, you could click through it, yes. But it does cost a lot of credits to break it. True. It's a very efficient piece of ice.
True. This reminds me of the spreadsheets people were putting together to calculate break costs for all the different breakers and stuff like that. That was quite nice. Back in the day.
Well, back in the old days, we had Eli. Now we have a bunch of really cost-effective little barriers like IP Block and Gold Farmer.
Yeah.
But back in the day, Eli was the piece of ice. I remember playing RP and you're or replicating perfection. This is replicating perfection in the core in system core. It is, isn't it?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And protecting your agendas with Eli's because they're very annoying to break. And I believe it played. There was a current called Enhanced Login Protocol.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So you would spend a click to run a central server so you could run the remote, but you would have to spend 2 clicks because of Enhanced Login Protocol, and then you couldn't click through Eli anymore to get to the agenda.
Mean.
Yeah, those were the days.
Runner going up to 6 points right now. Spiderweb. This is going to be a bit taxing, but again, Corroder doing all the work here. 3 credits, which is not too shabby. And that's game. Oh wow, that was pretty one-sided here. The runner basically very aggressively scoring the corp out on the ropes. Yeah, I'm wondering what would have happened if that agenda that was stolen was not the Octan but the priority requisition. That punitive may have been a bit more lethal in that case. Okay, we're gonna jump out of this table and we're gonna jump out into a table that is still going on. How about we go to table 1? We have Owe and Ragnar Konard in there. I'm jumping in and let's take a quick look. Scroll the way down and here we have some serious damaging action with loads of viruses in play on Chaos Theory's side. And look at that Catty Jones, 18 credits. This is fierce. But on the other hand, we have the corp on 6 points and 2 Nisei counters. Oh wow. That is really well set up here.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to pop out for 1 second. I'll be right back.
No worries. So in this situation here, we have Chaos Theory with a ton of resources, as in credits on cards, and also Ice Analyzer, which enables cheaper installs, and an Armitage code busting just in case, and putting a lot of pressure on R&D with the R&D interfaces. On the other hand, we have a quite well set up Jinteki, replicating perfection, that does annoyingly do exactly what Thomas was talking about a while ago, which is you have an Eli on a server which you have to click through, but then the first click you spend you have to run on a central server because, you know, that's the requisite of running a remote server in this deck with this ID. And now the runner, fortunately sitting on a ton of money taken from Cali Jones. When you encounter Tollbooth, which is an NBN ice, you have to pay 3, and if you cannot pay 3 credits, and by paying you only can use credits from your credit pool or certain cards that are not in this format. But yeah, you cannot, for example, take the credits, excuse me, from other cards that have credits on them. It has to be usually your own credit pool. But yeah, the runner still has a ton of money, gets into the central, which has, I'm trying to see the upgrade, but I don't see it. I don't know if we got disconnected by accident. No, it just doesn't pop out. Oh, there we go. The Hokusai City Grid, which is gonna give them a damage. They can definitely trash it, and they probably will be trashing it. But here comes the tough part with playing against Jinteki. First you're gonna get some damage, and then chances are in those 3 cards you're gonna be accessing right now, there could be something that kills you as well, because you do have only 1 card in your hand, and the corp, well, okay, the corp only has 1 credit, so maybe indeed they won't be able to pay for any traps if they have any traps in there. I assume that this was basically the runner's thinking, also like putting pressure on the corp so that they have to maybe rest some eyes, have to rest some defenses, but then bringing them to very few credits, trashing that Hokusai just to make sure that if they have to go back, they will, as they definitely want to put more pressure on R&D with those 2 interfaces. You don't want to go through there again, pay the extra Tollbooth tax, and then get another point of damage from Hokusai. That just basically is not what you would like to do as a runner. And indeed, the chances of a fetal AI were very low in this case. Thank you, Jessica, for the hint in the chat, as there are already 2 copies of fetal AI on the table, and the runner would have to find 1 in 25 cards, which is a solid 4% chance, but still. Oh, then again, we don't know what the corp has in their hand or in server 1. Could be either or.
I think we can be pretty confident that that's a June bug.
Are you sure though? Because let me just check the archives.
It would be I think it's an advanceable trap. Otherwise, they probably would have, or were they unable to score it?
Well, let's wait and see. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
it's possible that it's an agenda, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the runner. Oh, okay, no. Probably the runner is not interested in any remotes. They're just gonna go for the goodies, and that's a hefty install. A third R&D interface, and then they run HQ, Access, and a hedge fund, which does not do anything bad for them. Imagine if there was a Jinteki card that damages the runner and gives you money, like some sort of a trap that when you access it, the corp might get more money.
Huh. I'm gonna bet on the fact that it's a advanceable trap in server 1, honestly.
Okay.
Because otherwise I would have immediately snap scored it by now to win the game.
That's actually a very good point. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you score an agenda if you have all the credits? So yeah, it has to be a trap. Unless this is like a triple mind game in which they know that we know that they know that we know that they know, and that's why they're not doing this, because they want us to suffer.
So 3 RDIs and that is a very expensive R&D to run, but with 3 RDIs you will be accessing 4 cards. Again, there's always the fear of accessing things like snares. There are no snares in archives, and the fact that the corp player did not res the ice on R&D kind of can signal to you that there's might be some traps in this hand there, or in their hand there. I don't actually know that person personally, so.
Yeah, the archives, so the cards that have been played or trashed so far on the corp side, holds basically economy and a bitsy bit of damage. Oh, look at this, double toll booth. Okay, well,
That's expensive.
it is very expensive. It's at least 6 credits before breaking. On the other hand, you have a Gordon Blade, which is awesome because you only have to pump it once and then it keeps the strength for the rest of the run. So while expensive, but actually, would you be pumping this? I would totally be using the data sucker tokens.
That is true.
Well, then again, I mean, maybe it's actually cheaper and you save some tokens. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Well, you kind of want your Guardian Blade to be at strength of the second one, so it only costs 1 extra credit.
True.
Roll them bones, let's see what we get.
Well, I assume 5 traps and a chinchilla.
Also, quickly want to shout out to Jessica. Thank you in the chat for helping people with questions, especially the Obokata question there. Yes, Obokata Protocol is legal, but yes, it's not one of the cards that is in System Core.
So now, 4 cards, which could mean game either way, because there could be some damage in here, or there could be a lot of points in here, or both. I'm looking at you, Fetal AI, but yeah. Let's take a look. So Abe approaches the R&D server, one of the centrals, and here comes fun stuff. Or does it?
So this successful run, he's going to get some extra data sucker counters, which will make breaking that remote quite a bit easier.
That is very true as well. Okay. That was a strong play by the Corp, but it was definitely worth it, using that one of the 2 Nisei counters they had to stop the runner from accessing anything at that point. That was very wise, because you definitely don't want the runner to get any ideas or agendas from your R&D.
Yep, and load Katie for the last click.
Yeah, now the runner.
So for new people who are watching along, a very good point of strategy is if you look at your hand and you know what you have say you're the runner. You have 4 clicks, and you look at your hand and you know what you're going to do with 2 of those clicks. Maybe you say, okay, I'm going to play a sure gamble, and I'm going to make a run. If you don't know what you're going to do with these other 2 clicks, it's always best to draw first, because you'll draw into a new card, and that might change what you want to do with your turn, because you'll get new options. If you're at the end of your turn and you have something like Katie Jones installed and you don't really have another play, then absolutely use your last click to spend on loading Katie, because it has no effects. It doesn't change your board state. But draw first and then use permanent effects last. I mean, there are exceptions, but that's a general thing to keep in the back of your mind.
In case
so that card on server 1 has stayed there for the entire time, which really does signal to me that it's a trap.
Can you be sure though? I'm not sure. Archive Memories. Okay, that's a good card, especially in a deck that can be, well, that might be needing certain cards to come back into their hand from archives.
Oh, he's going for it.
I wouldn't be rerunning this. This is not safe in any way.
Junebug does, I believe, 4 damage.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't care about the cards in his hand.
But I mean, you know, there are better ways of losing 4 cards in this game. Although maybe not in the core format, but yeah.
No, that's very true. It's a questionable play. I mean, if it's been their all turn and the core player has had ample opportunities to score that out if it was an agenda. So I probably wouldn't have run this, but you know. But 88 might have his reasons.
That is very true. Plus, Trick of Light, that's a very good mention here. It is a card that exists, and I should just make sure that I see the list, because I don't even remember if there's a copy. I played very little of System Core back in the day, and I should have played a bit more, but I'm just gonna...
So I believe Trick of Light is in System Core, so if you double advance a trap and it doesn't get run, it is absolutely a battery to use it to score out agendas.
That is very true. It does exist as a single copy in the usual, in the single core, so to speak, but because we're playing a triple off, there could be any number of Tricks of Light, up to 3.
Oh, and this got Nisei countered.
I think it's just a ruse.
If that is an agenda, that's a very strange use of a Nisei counter that could otherwise have protected an agenda. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, chances are, I mean, Ragnar Konrad could be also a new player just trying out some, psychological warfare.
Absolutely.
And I think this is one of the very nice things about playing with people who have never played this game before or are just learning. They are not in any way kind of shaped by the standard meta, the last championships, the this, the that. A group of people that they play with already, and they work on deck building and stuff like that. They're super fresh. They're super eager. They're super enthusiastic. And they're happy making mistakes, but they're in their own way, and they're happy, to just make plays that are definitely not optimal or are just unexpected. But this is exactly the way to enjoy this game, because once you get into the game, you basically have to you're dropped off at the deep end of a very big pool full of cards, and you have to find your way around it. And you will be thrashing maybe in the beginning in very interesting ways, but it's fun, and you might be really making some suboptimal plays, or some people would just say, that was weird, why did you do this, why didn't you do that? And you could still win a few games, and that's also the fun part. But for people who have seen quite a few games, all of this might be a bit confusing.
Yeah, so one of the things that could have the idea behind it could have been is to bluff that it's an agenda.
Wow!
Oh, it was an agenda.
Wowee, that actually saved the game for the runner then. Oh, for a second.
Maybe he just didn't realize that if he had scored out the priority requisition, that would have been.
Oh, maybe it was a training. It was like, yeah, come in, take this, and I'm gonna flatline you because of a punitive. Wow, that was interesting.
I love it.
That was.
I love this. This is
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, that was really cheeky. This is a cheeky corp. Okay, yeah, no, maybe. Bam. Okay, let's leave this table then and let's jump into table 4, maybe, perhaps. They should still have a game on, I would say. Indeed, and here we have interesting IDs as well. I mean, at least on the runner side, we've seen Blue Sun already.
These are 2 Belgians.
Should we hold this against them or not really?
Ooh, and I see Nuts is doing quite well.
Indeed. 5 points to their name, and then we have the run with an open R&D, which is a bit dangerous here. And there's one hostile takeover already out of the game. Probably for that farmed archer or for the archer on the remote. Actually, if I scroll the log down, then we'll see what's going on in the real time.
It was a shout out to Tenor Gaming and Jessica in the chat that, yeah, obviously he could have just scored the agenda and that made a lot more sense. But, you know, sometimes Netrunner is about winning on your own terms.
Absolutely.
It's like, I could have scored the agenda, but I want to win by flatline. Sometimes it's just about sending a message.
Scarring the other player for life. Whoops. Speaking of well, scarring people, this corp here is getting... Well, okay. I was going to be a bit worried because there is a priority requisition probably somewhere still in the game, at least another copy of this. If not 2. That archer is fairly cheap because you have to pay 4, but the corp has 3 bad publicity. So, yeah. On the other hand, there we go. I mean, even a triple punitive is not going to do much here. Oh no, that could kill the run, actually. Excuse me, yeah. There could be 3 I mean, I'm pretty sure there will be 3 punitives, right? There we go. Is there going to be a 3rd punitive for the win after an Atlas? Yes! Oh! This is painful. What are the odds? I mean, yeah, well, there we go. That's the runner being flatlined. Yeah, and this is the strength of Wayland with its very mighty, very annoying operation, which is perfectly and nicely balanced in this format, I would say, because the runners totally just need to have money and remember that this card exists. Okay, well, let's just jump out of this table, which was a GG indeed, and let's check if there are any other tables on. Table 5 friendly. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, go.
More than half an hour left in the round as well, so
I think we're gonna jump here for the revenge because that was actually their first game. So we have the 2 players from 2 games ago where we had this very, very cheeky flatline. From Jinteki. Now this player is on Leela Patel versus the only has Bioroid in the tournament, Stronger Together, which has this ability of increasing the strength of Bioroid Ice by 1.
I'm in the wrong game.
Well.
There we go.
Okay, the runner definitely not letting the corp money up. Although they didn't trash the Maryland. Okay, was that a... Oh, okay, this was only about running the Paragon, which is also nice.
Is the bank job in System Core?
I have the card list open in the background, so I can totally tell you in a second. I just have to go up a bit. And bank job indeed exists in this format.
That could be an interesting card.
Yeah.
Let me just double check if Bank Job works with Paragon. I think it should.
When you say if it works with Paragon, you mean...
Yep. So Bank Job and Paragon should work together. So you could take 8 credits off of Bank Job and gain a credit from Paragon and scry the top of your deck.
Oh, well, that is a good combo. Scry? That sounds like a magical word. Please don't use magical words, understand?
Sorry.
I'm
Look
kidding,
at the top card of your deck and choose if you want to leave it there or put it on the bottom of your deck.
You can maybe... Well, we had this discussion back in the day, or I mean, when I say we, I mean the community, I think, in general, where people were discussing whether the words like tutor, which is inspired by a certain Magic the Gathering card called Demonic Tutor, whether that should actually be used, and, you know, when you're describing card effects and stuff like that. And people
oh my god, I can't even remember. It must have been more than 20 years ago that I briefly played Magic on the playground at my elementary school. It was the I can't remember what it was called. It was with the snow-covered lands and stuff like that. I don't remember. It was super long ago, and I don't remember much of it. But yeah, I mean, a card game as big as Magic is, and has had so much influence on card games in general, it's only natural that terms that come from that game will translate into different mechanics or pet names for mechanics in other games.
Indeed. By the way, I heard the other day that apparently the term to tap a card is no longer registered or trademarked by Wizards of the Coast. So you can actually tap cards in other games. Oh.
Yeah, it was like, I remember, this might be a wild tangent, but I don't know, about a year ago, I was at our local game store, and friends of mine were playing Magic, and they were playing a format, I believe it's called EDF or Commander.
Yeah.
And this for me was wild because, like, I'm used to playing Netrunner, which is, you know, it's a 45 or 49 card deck generally, and you can have 3 copies of the same card in the deck. And I was watching them play this game, and they had decks of 100 cards, and each card had to be unique.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there with my mind was blown. I was like, how do you build consistency in your decks? This is so weird for me. Like, yeah, well, there's a lot of cards that have different names but basically do the same thing.
I think that's one of the staying powers of Magic, because you can just combine, like, because of the card pool. And I never played Magic, so I don't even know how many cards there are, but I assume there's like thousands. And there's only so many colors in Magic. So yeah, you can probably, you know, you have a unique of everything, but then, you know, this one does damage when something happens and the other does damage when something happens. It's just slightly more expensive or slightly less expensive, but yeah, probably go for that.
Well, Magic is sort of a dude basher. I mean, you throw out monsters, the monsters fight against each other, you have more monsters than they do, and then the damage bleeds through. I know that's a very simplistic way of explaining it, but
so you mean they copied Hearthstone? Terrible.
Yeah. That's
Pretty much.
Exactly what I was saying.
Magic the Gathering is a very bad clone of Hearthstone. You know, you heard it here first. Controversial opinion. Now I'm just waiting for the influx of Magic the Gathering fans going, "No, you fool!" And of course, I mean, no. I think the very important lesson from Magic the Gathering is, in general, what you said as well. That yeah, it's been so revolutionary back in the day, and it still is in many ways. And it introduced so many different mechanics, approaches, ideas, and so on, that it's basically the grandparent of, I would say, all modern collectible games, one way or another. There has not been a game like, there has not been a game of that scale since, I think. I don't think even, I don't know what the second biggest collectible game in the world right now would be for cards. Maybe something in maybe something in Asia that we are not aware of because it was never released in the West. chances are, although I don't know.
Probably going to be something like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like even if you look back at there's if anybody at home is bored and wants to watch something really interesting, there's a website called Shut Up and Sit Down. It's a British board game review site, and their reviews are very well done. They're very funny as well. But just before the release of Twilight Imperium 4th Edition, which is also a Fantasy Flight game, they made a documentary about about Twilight Imperium, how it came about, how it basically made Fantasy Flight as a company. Without Twilight Imperium, there would probably never have been Fantasy Flight, and we would never have had Netrunner. And there's a point where they're talking about how they were demoing the first edition at I think it was like a comic, like a sort of a comic.
You mean
con?
Maybe Comic Con? Yeah, I mean some sort of a comic book convention, or
It was like a PAX or something like that. And they mentioned that aside from Vampire the Masquerade, there wasn't a lot of like gaming going on. The only real game that was being played was Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
So it goes back so long, and it has such a strong design team and such a dedicated fan base. It is you can't talk about the history of card games or current modern card games without tipping your hat to Magic, because that didn't make it all happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like talking about the role-playing games without mentioning Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, well, yeah, you might not be a big fan, or you might be not interested in it, but it's there, and it's the foundation in a way, and that's it. So it's a point of reference, absolutely. And I think, I think it's a very interesting aspect that basically all the big games in the 90s for cards, for collectible cards, came from Magic, and they were also developed, some of the titles were also developed by the same designer. So Richard Garfield, doing the first version of Netrunner, after Magic, creating the first version of Vampire, The Eternal Struggle as well, I think, unless I'm mistaken, but I think he was on the team there as well. I think he also made a Battletech card, which is about those big fighting robots and so on. And then there were a lot of copycats in a way, and games that were trying to do something similar or different in their own universes or franchises. And I think it was actually quite good that we had so many different games, because then it was easy to find something for everybody. And I actually wish we had more card games. I mean, we already have quite a lot, so maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, there's still, like, Netrunner is such a great game for me because of the theme and the way it plays. But I wouldn't mind another good collectible cyberpunk card game with something else happening in it. Like, it doesn't have to be about hacking and stuff. There, you could have other interesting things happening in a universe like this. Maybe, who knows?
The theme is absolutely, that's one of the main things that drew me to Netrunner, is the cyberpunk theme. But like, what really got me hooked in it is like absolutely the asymmetrical way of play and the way you interact with each other at the table. And honestly, no other game has ever done this before. Like, there's no game like Netrunner, and it's such like I am so happy with Nisei, and I appreciate everything that they do. But on the other hand, I am really sad that FFG dropped it as a IP.
Yeah, I mean, FFG, when you look at the art, the way it was styled, the way the Android universe was basically neatly plugged into it, it just made perfect sense. It's just like, this is perfect. Like, you have a great universe which is super vibrant and diverse and colorful and can be scary but also entertaining, and it has a lot of commentary on a ton of stuff happening nowadays. And there's this brilliant game that just, it's basically goes hand in hand, and you can have one or the other or both of them. Why not have both? ¿Por qué no los dos, as they say? And I don't think there was a single person in the gaming community playing Netrunner that was like, oh yeah, FFG dropped it, finally, woohoo. It's like, no, everybody was gutted. So totally agree. Yeah, it would.
When I got the news, I had just started a new job, and it was like at a company party, like It was a Friday evening. Everybody was invited to. We basically had a bar in the building, and we were all like drinking, and I was meeting people, and I was having a lot of fun. And then I read the news, and I literally just had to go to the bathroom because I broke down crying.
It was a tough night.
For a lot of people that have been playing Netrunner for a long time, it's been like a very integral part of our lives. You know, we travel for these events. We've made a lot of friends through this game.
True.
It was rough, but Nice as an organization picked it up, and we are still in business, and we're still loving this game.
Indeed. I think one of the main reasons why the game is still there is just because people didn't give up on it. You know, nobody wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna toss my cards out, or I'm gonna sell it to somebody, you know, for like no money whatsoever because I don't care about this game. And I was like, no, everybody cared, and this is why we're still here, because everybody cared, or a lot of people cared. Maybe some people just said whatever, and fair enough, no harm done, or you know, no shame to anybody, but enough people cared to make it work. And that was a successful field test. There we go.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Oh.
I think somebody was sitting on a ton of agendas and now they gave up some. One more card, or is that going to be it? And now it's all about... No, actually, they don't have to worry about punitives at all. Will this be game then? Oh, rude.
Emergency shutdown, what a card.
Rude. Also known as the dog's ribs, but hey. I never kind of understood, in the very beginning, I never understood what was the reason of the art on this, and then I was like, oh yeah, they have all the hound eyes, indeed. Because it's kind of cruel when you have a cyber dog and then it says emergency shutdown and there's a graphic pointing at a dog's heart in the chest there, you know, it's like, what? But I just assume it's an off button for a cybernetic or a, you know, like a software... Well, yeah, a software representation of a dog, yeah.
That it kind of is a trope that came from, I believe it came from Warhammer 40k with like cyber mastiffs and things.
Mm-hmm.
Having like a lot of canine based or thematically based ice and things. It's interesting. Also, there used to be this whole thing about if you're Team Cat or Team Dog.
Oh yeah, of course. And then there was Team Snake as well, and many different teams. The more animals we got in Netrunner, the more teams we got.
Yep.
We never got Team Laundry though, and I think Team Laundry, I would love to be on Team Laundry. Laundry is positive. It's, you know, gets stuff clean. You get things to wear. I just need more cards with Laundry as the theme. I mean, Dirty Laundry is like one of the... I would say, well, okay, it's maybe not such a powerful meme card as many others in the game, but it's definitely a staple in many decks. So yeah,
that's what people used to say is when you start building a deck, you always start building a runner deck. You always start with the same 9 cards: 3 daily casts, 3 sure gambles, and 3 dirty laundries. And obviously, there are decks that don't need those cards, but
absolutely. Now I'm thinking, like, there are some corp cards that could be good for the theme. You have Dirty Laundry on the runner side, but then you have the cleaners on the corp side, and that's already it.
Well, there's a lot of like dog-themed cards. I mean, you have Pup.
Yeah.
Kamainu kind of look like 2 dogs. What's what I'm thinking of Slab Dog, obviously.
Just talking about Team Tiger. And
Team Tiger.
And Crooked is talking about only one team being Team Cat. Fair enough. But Team Tiger, what's like Tiger? I'm thinking about Tiger cards. Well, there's like this. I think it's a cheetah on Afterimage. So, but that's Team Cat. Like, let's be honest.
Tiger. The only thing that's coming to mind is Tiger Bread, which is a deck that. Elwyn played for a while, or Yakuza played for a while, apologies, which was an Acid Spam RP deck. With viral weaponization! Are there tigers on viral weaponization? That might be the link that I'm missing.
And now I saw Bravado in the chat, and I'm like, how about we have patatas bravadas? Like, I mean, maybe it's time to open a joint somewhere where people just come in and they order cards that are actually drinks or meals or snacks, and they just have weird names. There are gamer bars out there, which have cocktails named after, I don't know, World of Warcraft things or Zelda stuff. So yeah, we can have a Netrunner
bar. The last time that I was in your home country, in Poland, we went to a gaming bar and I ordered a cocktail called the Ocarina of Lime.
Oof. I hope it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was during IEM, the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
Oh man, yeah, I miss that place. I haven't been there. I live 20 kilometers from there, and I haven't been there in years, in more than a decade.
It was in the Spodek Arena.
Great place. I went to quite a few concerts there, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nice venue, and the city of Katowice is also really nice.
Yep. Now that you can actually see, like across the street because of the lack of pollution, yeah.
It used to be a mining town, I believe.
Indeed, like the whole region.
We're getting way off topic.
Oh, of course. Well, back into the game then. I mean, come on. This is a casual thing. We're having a casual chat. I'm pretty sure people in the chat, if they have questions, if you have questions, please do let us know. I mean, the game is pretty straightforward by now. And there has been some exciting accesses, and I think the strategy here for Lila is basically keep bouncing that HQ ice to make sure that if they hit another agenda, they can bounce it. Sorry, not bounce the ice, but like shut it down with emergency shutdowns, and then bounce it as soon as possible, because I think it's all about multi-access on HQ. Money, double money, easy Mark. By the way, this card doesn't look anything like Mark. He doesn't wear glasses like this. And he puts his hair in a slightly different way.
Oh, we should make an altart for this. Well, with a captain's uniform.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's an idea.
It's something we could do. Something that I've been wanting to do for ages is make an alternate art called the Slow Riffs campaign, which is basically Maryland campaign, but with like a very metal artwork on it. But I'm not going to shame him on stream. It was a really funny story of he at a regional tournament made a really weird mistake with Maryland campaign, and you get these inside jokes, and it's fun to like think about. Oh, we should probably use this and make an alt art out of it. Anyway, I'm gonna let you get back to the game for a few minutes. I will pop out to go to the bathroom, and I'll be right back.
No worries. We still have around 12 minutes in this round, more or less, of course. Special order. So the corp with server 3 being protected by an Eli, which is a bit stronger, is no longer secure because there's a corroder hitting the table. There are still 2 clicks left. The runner has 12 credits. And some Caddy Jones money as well, if they need extra. The thing is, they don't have anything to break sentries, so that outermost piece of ice here on server 3 could be a sentry. And here we see the runner trying to look cards up. The thing is, you have to type in the exact card name. Like this. I just decided to help, indeed. So yeah, here we go. And this is each one point, and they're basically looking it up, like what's the worst possible thing that can happen to them. And yeah. Trashing programs, which is very bad. And well, that means no pressure on that server just yet. Also, because the runner is on 4 points, the corp has 0. You don't really have to risk life and limb or your programs going into that server in case there's a sentry ice that you cannot click through because you are running on your penultimate click. On the other hand, you can just ping R&D, and even if you didn't hit anything, you still get a Paragon trigger. You could try and poke HQ again. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There are many different options, and yeah, even if the corp scores a thing, they will be actually poorer because they will have to invest time and credits into advancing that card in server 3. They only have 5 credits. Even if they score, for example, we have copies here of Paper Trail, that's a trace, but the runner can pay for the trace, so no problem. If they score a successful field test, that could be a bit annoying, but hey, well. Anyway, we have the Corp Resing, an Adonis campaign. Oh geez, I remember seeing this art and then seeing the alt art for Adonis and just going like, no. Oh, cheeky reversed accounts. Reversed accounts, a very nice card from NBN in this deck here. You advance it like an agenda, of course, but then you'd never score it. You just flip it over for 0. You res it for 0, and then you can spend a click and trash this card to basically, oh yeah, why am I even looking it up here? To basically make the runner lose a ton of money. And this is exactly what happened. The runner is very poor now. They can still access R&D because of the Corroder interaction with Ice Wall. It costs them only 1 credit. But yeah, that was a hefty 12 credits gone from the runner's pool. And the Corp now ahead on the money. Still not ahead in the points. But yeah, definitely fighting back as much as they can, of course. R&D needs probably one extra piece of ice on it, and this is exactly what happens here. And server 5 goes up as well, and I assume this could be another economy card, another Adonis campaign, for example. Because the runner is fairly poor, it will be hard for them to oh well, unless they play, of course, Dirty Laundry. I'm definitely joining Team Laundry or Team Cleaning or something, because this is, I mean, you know, one of my favorite cards for the runner side. I am a bit worried usually playing it against many cards nowadays because of hard-hitting news, of course, because you run and then you make a bit of money, but the Corp can just steal all your money or, you know, trample you with their economy cards and then play hard-hitting news. And of course you ran, even though you didn't do anything serious other than just looking up some dirty laundry, virtual dirty laundry. I mean, of course, all the nasty information that people store online, which actually this game teaches us a lot about security as well. If you are doing some silly, stupid, compromising things and stuff like that, don't put them online. Keep them to yourselves. Okay, I think Thomas is back, so I don't have to, you know, go deeper into my subconscious here.
Sorry, I was
no worries.
Helping somebody on the Discord, one of the new players.
Fair enough. I'm really enjoying the fact that we have new players drawn into the game and trying it out. I hope they have I hope they have a fair experience, so to speak, and I'm pretty sure they are having a fair experience because the format is fairly balanced. It's all about playing with a limited card pool as well. That does make your life easier, because when you build those decks, or when you even just get them and you read what you have and you might look up what your opponent could hold, then you have a better understanding of the game systems. Whereas if you were to dive into the standard pool right now, yeah, I don't know, it would be kind of hard from the
It's
get-go.
big and it's intimidating, but that's why, you know, we have these beginner events so people can like understand the mechanics and play with a basic, like a basic is probably the wrong word, but a limited set of cards.
Yeah.
And then they can kind of explore from there. And there are a lot of different resources that you can use, like Netrunner DB and NetRunnerDB .net.com.
NetRunnerDB.com,
sure.
Of course. NetRunnerDB.com, the one and only.
Yep. To look for different decks, there's different search filters. You can just say like, okay, I like this and this and this card, and you can type them in, and then you will get deck lists that have those cards. And I mean, like, if you're just starting out, you just play with anything, and then once you get to a stage you're comfortable enough, then you can get into standard card builds that have, you know, the cards that are currently legal for competitive play, and etc., etc., etc.
Yep.
But I mean, it's a learning process, and that's one of the most enjoyable things. Well, in my opinion, was for me one of the most enjoyable things about Netrunner is learning how to play it.
Yep. But I wouldn't like to.
The first 3 months, we had there was a regular meetup every Thursday night in my hometown of Belgium, my hometown of Antwerp in Belgium, and me and a friend just kind of randomly tumbled into that, and I kept going because it wasn't too far from where I lived. I kept going every week, and it took me 3 months to actually win a game. And one of my friends said, it's really cool that you keep coming every week and you keep getting your ass handed to you. Like, a lot of people would have stopped playing by now. It's like, yeah, I really don't care about losing. It's the enjoyment of learning the game is what's most important to me.
Indeed. I was just going to say that I wouldn't like to forget how to play Netrunner and then having to relearn all of it, because it took me quite a bit to learn a lot of cards, and yeah. Still don't know everything, of course, or I'm just resistant to knowledge, let's put it this way. But it would be kind of weird to go like, what's a click again? What are credits for?
What's a Bioroid?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my knowledge of the world is much better than knowledge of the game, but well, that's my way of consuming this cultural package of information. The Ichi now definitely giving the runner a run for their money, but now they can click through the Eli and then access, and then the funny thing is this is probably going to be an Ash somewhere here, I would assume, in server 3.
That's an Ash, yeah.
Because with 0 clicks and 0 credits, there's only so much you can do. So here they go, and now the corp can act, and indeed it's an Ash, and you cannot trash the Ash because you don't have the money. So unfortunate, but
That's
true.
you.
You are stopped by a Bioroid telling you to not go in. How rude.
One of the funniest things I found about this game is, okay, it's a card that isn't in the system core for obvious reasons. But Jeeves Model Bioroid. That's the title of the card, is Jeeves Model Bioroid. It does not have the Bioroid subtype.
Well, because it's like does the Tenma line, for example, have the clone subtype? Is there such a thing as a clone subtype? Now I'm gonna look it up. And this is like Netrunner trivia.
I think so.
Now we're gonna go like, because I assume this is kind of the theme behind it. It's like it's not only a
Yes,
Bioroid.
Tenma line has the clone subtype.
Jeez, they broke it.
There's another one. So another, for people who don't know, there's a set of cards that have the subtype political. And there's also a card called Political Dealings,
which
isn't political for some reason.
But it's subtype dealings. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well, there's so much fun you can have with the card pool, trying to explore why certain things are there or the way they are. But yeah, I mean, what would it change if Jeeves Bioroid, that card Jeeves, if it had the Bioroid subtype? Not much, right? You could probably shoot it with an SMW. That's it. But
what would have changed about it is you could use Albert on it.
All right. Indeed.
You could use the identity ability of Architects of Tomorrow on it.
Oh, true, but doesn't it explicitly state that it has to be a Bioroid Ice? No, it's just Bioroid.
It's just Bioroid, I believe.
Okay. So much money on the corp side.
Of Tomorrow. The first time the runner passes a res piece of Bioroid Ice each turn, you may res a Bioroid, lowering its res cost by 4.
Okay.
So you would have been able to res Jeeves for free.
Okay. Well, Jeeves is only 2, but still, that's good. Speaking of resing for free, priority requisition just happened, and that means that Ichi on R&D is active now for free. So that was a good discount of 5 credits for the corp here. Could be important for the runner because they do have a Cathy Jones which has 21 credits on her. Quite solid. On the other hand, the corp is slow. Oh, okay, never mind. Forget what I said. You could be saying that the runner is playing here like a bit carelessly in a way, just like, very low on credits and so on. But this is all premeditated because I'm pretty sure the runner is aware that that money on Cathy Jones is safe from different cards that might take it away. Unless, of course, by some weird accident, Cathy gets trashed. But that's probably not going to happen. Now, all the money into the bank and an Earthrise Hotel for the extra draw.
And Oba has probably just under 2 minutes now to finish the round, so he's going to have to jam something if he wants to win this game.
Yeah.
I will also point out that Oba is the person who's running this tournament. So yeah, between everything that he's doing, he's checking the Discord and doing scores and stuff. So
yeah.
I don't really see a way out for him right now.
Well,
unless he can biotic out an agenda, I suppose. Project Vitruvius in this.
yeah.
I would assume so.
Yeah. You can just keep protecting HQ. Ah. Well, let's just very quickly count the costs here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you just let the corp get money. So 1, 2, 3. Then Itchy, you save the counter, so you just break it for 3. And then you break the Eli for 2, 3, 4. So you do have enough money.
Or click through it.
Yeah, you have enough money, and then Ash is at least a trace 4. But the corp might, I mean, this is probably a strong play where the corp just says, yeah, you have to pay or click through all the eyes I already have in server 3, and then you still have to meet the Ash, which I can boost in such a way that you actually won't be able if you pay everything. Although I assume that the runner has plenty of money, so they can actually get in through cheap enough. Plus they have all the clicks.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Oh.
I don't think they can get into that server and break the Ash trace, honestly. Low roll. Yeah, so just quickly getting into chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to clarify, when the timer runs out, the player who is currently playing gets to finish their turn, and then the other player gets one final turn, and then at the end of that, whoever has the most agenda points wins the game. If they have the same amount of agenda points, then it's a draw. And instead of getting 3 points for a full win, both players get 1 point.
I believe we ran into time, and I think that was called on the side, so we didn't really have the announcement here because everybody's communicating on Discord here, and we're not on those channels to just let people be. I think this game is theoretically over, but I'm not sure. Like, time was probably called on audio.
Ragnar Knard has left the game for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's basically it. Like, the game was called, like the time was called, and it's 4 to 3 for the runner.
Well, I mean, still have another turn, so if that's an agenda in server 3, then if that's Vitruvius in server 3, then it would have put Oban on 5 points, which would have won him the game.
Well, fair enough.
See what I'm saying? I'm laying down the lines.
But that is indeed the fact. We have the scores. I mean, the scores, of course, it's a fun event and whatnot, but we have the scores in, and we have Ragnar cornered on 6. So that game we're looking at right now indeed is no more. We're going to jump out of this. We're going to take a very quick break because the new round is going to be starting any second now, but I'm just going to take a very quick look at things happening in the background here. Be right back. Yeah, and you can pick a table in the meantime. We have 5 tables to choose from. Do you want to see the top players who won their first round? We actually see who is on what right now. So pick a corp, any corp, or runner, any runner, and we're going to jump in there to take a look.
Let's see. I would actually kind of like to watch. The Making News deck.
The Making News deck. Okay, Wink Nugget. This is table 5. We already watched Obi, but fair enough. Here we go. see what they say. They should be fine. How's everybody doing on the chat? How is the chat doing? We had a triple punitive, so yeah, it was fun times. And as a reminder, this Saturday, so in 2 days, there's going to be the Antwerp Store Championship ran by Crystal Fox, who's actually here in the audio as well with me today. And yeah, and on Sunday, there's a tournament in Bern that I'm going to be at least streaming, which is open mostly to the Swiss folks, which makes perfect sense. But yeah, like it's probably going to be interesting because it's going to be both events in standard. So if you're wondering, you know, how are the standard meta decks doing right now, these are 2 good events to check out, and you should totally participate in the Antwerp Store Championship because it's open for everybody. And indeed, we get some spammers, some nasty spammers in the chat, spamming the hell out of the chat.
I am just sharing the always be running link for the
yeah, nasty spammers. 419 is here to protect your, I don't know, siblings and possessions. He's gonna tax you with a credit unless you show him what's going on. Anyway,
I would encourage everyone to come out and play. Like it would really help me. It would really help the Antwerp meta as well. I do have access to the prizes as well, so the Alt Art House of Knives, Beals, and the playmats. And if you register for this event, then you on the registration form you can fill in an address, and the prizes will be sent to your address of choice next week. So you could be one of the first to get your hands on those new sweet shiny Store Championship prizes.
Indeed. And then, for example, if you moved to Mars in the meantime, just saying, I don't care about this planet anymore, it's full of weird stuff, then you might make it very tough for Thomas to deliver it to you. But hey, fun. Speaking of fun, making news versus Chaos Theory. We're on that table. Table 5. And let's see. NBN making news. The Tracing Corp with 2 recurring credits for traces. And this is one of the few corps in the game that has recurring credits actually as an ID power. I think it's the only one.
Yeah, I quickly jump into the Discord because they're having trouble with the timer.
No worries, go for it. And Chaos Theory, 1 extra memory, not a superpower you would say, but the superpower here is the slightly smaller deck size, so 40 cards instead of 45 as a minimum. And 1 memory can be very useful in many situations. Kind of influences your build in a way. You want to build a rig that makes use of that extra memory point or memory unit, excuse me. But yeah, let's see what we're going to see between those 2 players.
Yeah, shout out to Jessica in the chat. Absolutely, because we built it as an idea that I've never seen used before.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah. You can use this credit to advance ice, but why would you? There's just so many. If it was just like click and 1 credit advance 2 pieces of ice or something, I would probably consider playing that.
Pad factories, man, pad factories.
No, but like imagine like for a click and a credit, you can advance up to 2 pieces of ice if they're advanceable. That would totally be cool, and I would like it. And Trick of Light would, like, yeah, I think I'm gonna make an alternative version of that ID that's gonna use this and test it. No, I'm kidding. But we can always give this idea to somebody.
Still costs a click. Like you still have to pay a click to advance the ice.
But it's click compression, so it's click and credit.
No, it's credit compression, but
well, yeah, no, but then you put 2 advancement counters on 2 different pieces or on the same piece of ice. So that would be kind of cool. You would get some extra value from this. And
you get a credit value.
Yeah, but I mean, think about Masscom and all those cards. You know, that would kind of make
sense. But then you have things like
no. What if the credit was recurring as well? So you have this one, like every turn you can spend the click for free advance 2 pieces of ice. In a way, let's put it this way.
It's one recurring credit.
No, so let's make it 2. I guess the thing. And I still think it wouldn't be overpowered.
Yeah, maybe.
It would be very.
I still don't think I would play it, but.
Everybody.
Like you used to have shipment from, what was it? Shipment from.
Sansa.
There was one.
Tenon.
No.
Shipment
No.
from Kakugo. Kakugo, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Not Kakugo. Is it Kakugo? No, yeah.
Cute. Oh, Jesus, I can't remember. Shipment
From
Kaguya.
Kaguya. Ah, so close. Kaguya Spaceport, of course. This is like this is just been dreaming.
In the
about
lore,
Thank you,
it's
Jessica.
Starport Kaguya, which is
Yeah, no.
where the ships land when you go to the moon.
Woohoo, fancy.
It's also, incidentally, where Aesop's pawn shop is. Aesop's pawn shop is in Starport Kaguya.
Indeed.
A bit of lore there for you guys.
Maybe we should run a quiz online at some point.
I remember your Netrunner quiz at BCom 2 years ago.
Oh god, yeah.
Which, haha, we won.
True. You had the best team for that, but yeah.
But barely. Alice, Ozan, and Maddie, they got 3 points less than we did, I think. So it was very close. But I remember those questions were ridiculous. Like, name all bioroids. Jesus.
No, you had like what? No, you could name as many as you wanted, but there were up to like 20. There are actually up to 20.
There are a lot of bioroids
lines mentioned throughout the card game and the role-playing game and the board game. So yeah, for sure. It was fun to research all this. Okay, meanwhile, in the game, we have a proper shaper setup with an ice analyzer, with some extra draw from Airfreight Hotel, with Cathy Jones already gathering some money on the runner side. Extra econ and a modded hitting the table with a Mimic for free, which is awesome. Mimic is an amazing piece of software here, an amazing program. I love the original art, I love the alt art. They're really cool.
Is there an alternate Mimic?
Yeah, I think it's the Nisei one that's on the playmat, which is basically
this
carnival mask.
That is beautiful.
It is beautiful. When I saw it, I was like, and I have this mat somewhere. I don't even know, somewhere in my stash, but it's like, yes, prized possession.
That series of mats, I only have the Nihilist mat.
Oh yes, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I actually, the laptop that I'm on right now is on top of that mat. I'm using it as a mouse mat right now, but it's a beautiful piece of art.
It is.
Bringing noise back.
Yeah. Make some noise. Server 1 gets an advancement. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go.
I was just going to say that the server 1 has an advancement and the runner can't probably do anything about it.
Unless it's being protected by a strength 3 or lower sentry. Hang on, something's flying over. I'll mute for a minute.
Oh yeah, I can hear the chopper here as well. So
I think the police are looking for you. The cyber police are looking for you, Vesper.
Oh, the cyber police are looking for me. Hello, cyber police. I did absolutely nothing. Where's my bike? Anyway.
I was flying in the direction of your apartment. I'm not even kidding.
I heard him. I think they're just making sure I'm not breaking the law. Also, it's 10 to 10, so they're probably chasing the people off the streets. That scrubber hit the table and quickly helped dispatch the path campaign, but now we have a wall of static completely stopping the runner in their tracks. Such value, such a good card. 2 solid credits to tax the runner if they have a corroder.
Oh, yes, thank you, Jessica.
Oh yeah, Jessica knew that. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be I'm not surprised that Jessica knows that it's shipping from Kaguya, obviously. If there will be a day where we know that. Sorry, there will be a day when we learn that Jessica actually does not know something about Netrunner cards or the text on them or something, but that day has not come yet, so, you know. Oh yeah, so interestingly, indeed, the 2 corp IDs to have recurring credits are not considered good, indeed, but the 2 runner IDs with recurring credits being Smoke and... Who's the other one with recurring credit? Who has a recurring credit other than Smoke? Would you count Hoshiko Shira as something that, like, an ability that... No. Now I'm thinking about the other runner with the recurring credit.
I don't know. I have no clue.
Smoke for sure. I mean, I guess you could count Hoshiko Shira's ability as a recurring econ in a way. I don't know. Sea Source. Ooh, this is getting nasty fast.
Oh, Wizard. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're very good at this game and we played it since the very beginning.
We're stupid.
No, we're just two old people who have a very long day behind them, and like, yeah. I mean, we were just talking legal IDs. I'm sorry. No, Wizard, of course, yeah. 3 credits to trash things. Recurring credits. That's, yeah. I mean, I think that's overpowered. 3 credits to trash things. It's like 2 would be okay, but 3, God.
And when Wizard came out, a lot of people thought it was trash.
Yeah, you basically trash. It's all about trashing, indeed. Imagine if somebody took Wizard's DNA and Geist's DNA and cloned them. So it's like, you have 3 credits to trash cards, and then if you trash a card, you draw a card. It's like, ooh, mind blown.
So yeah, as Jessica pointed out, playing a sea source on your last click is not ideal. You would want to follow up the sea source by trashing resources, or follow up the sea source by playing something like closed accounts to take away all their money.
Indeed.
But again, we have to reiterate, these are largely new players who are still experimenting and exploring the game, so...
Exactly. And I think one of the best ways in the game to learn something or remember something for all the other people in the world apart from me is to make mistakes, because I make mistakes and then I make the mistakes again because they were just funny or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But the average good player of this game has some mistakes that they remembered and then they just keep avoiding them, whereas I'm just like, how about I do this? Maybe it's gonna work this time. Oh no, okay, never mind.
Yeah, sometimes you get like really stubborn about a certain interaction, like I want this to work, and you keep trying it.
Absolutely, that's basically my story of playing Netrunner and deck building for the last, what, 6 years now? Yeah, 7? 2013, that was the first one, right? Yeah. It's been a while.
It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Brothers Bloom.
Nope.
It's the main characters are played by Mark Ruffalo, Adrian Brody, and I want to say Anne Hathaway, but that's wrong. Rachel Weisz.
Oh, Rachel Weisz. Yeah. She's cool.
And it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But one of them, the character played by Mark Ruffalo, has this thing like he's just says pick a card, any card. He choose a card, he shuffles it and shows you a card. Is this your card? And every time the answer is obviously no. And he's like, one of these times it's gonna work, and it's gonna be the greatest card trick you've ever seen. And it's just like one of those things that I have that sometimes in deck building too. Like one of these times it's gonna work, and it's gonna be the greatest trick you've ever seen.
Yep. It's like everybody's gonna have a deck of the week one day, you know.
Current deck of the week is by a Belgian player, by the way.
There you go. See.
Just throwing that out there.
Just throwing it out. Indeed.
It's Oracle May Hoshiko deck that plays nothing but resources and bin breakers.
Oh yeah, I remember. I read it. I was like, this is fun. There's a quadruple advanced card in server 3, and I don't know what to think about it. Any reads?
Well, from an experience point of view,
Yes.
that's going to be a trap that serves as a trick of light battery.
I see.
Could be a ghost branch.
Okay.
Something like that. But again, I don't know what Wink Nugget is playing in this deck. I believe his name is Mike.
Could be a Ronin. That's a ghost. Ooh.
That is nasty.
It is nasty indeed. Now the runner's like,
And I call it it's a ghost branch. So, what could happen with this? I'm assuming playing things like close accounts. I do not know. Vesper, can you check real quick? It's psychographics in the core set.
I am checking before Jessica tells it if it's there, and indeed it is.
Hey,
yes.
So he could use that to psycho something out.
Dang, I was 2 seconds late to Jessica. Like seriously, how does she do this? Anyway, Ronin would be a good choice as well. Absolutely.
Get rid of Katie Jones, and the Armitage could also be an option. But then he would have new minis.
I would just break the
hedge fund, and then now
Armitage.
Either get rid of the Armitage or Katie, or play something. Well, I don't know if she close accounts is even worth it. Get rid of the get rid of the Armitage.
Yeah, because they will still stay on the tag after this.
The poor man's magnum opus, or the poor person's magnum opus. I apologize.
Psychographics, that'll be cool. No, not this turn. Well, anyway. So here we are, the run with 4 tags, but you don't have to worry about any whatsoever damage because there is no tag damage in the core.
But psychographics and closed accounts are nasty cards.
That is very true, and I kind of like it that the damage cards were off the table for core set because. I mean, well, of course, you do have the net damage and the meat damage in the format of Punitive Counter-Strike or the Jinteki traps and so on, but like oh, you have some tags, so I just boom you, or oh, you have some tags, so I scorch you. It's like, it's not a bad thing, but it's kind of, the runner is just innocent. They're trying to survive, and, bad things happen. Why do evil things to them? Anyway, right now, speaking of poor people, the runner's at 0 credits.
And all the tag, which is probably a good idea.
It's healthy, and the Corp now has all the power on their side of the table. But what are they going to do with this? They're not too rich.
I know.
I have this slight interlude. I'm gonna pop out again for a second. Be right back.
No worries whatsoever. Go for it. And I'm gonna ask the chat, who do you think is gonna win this? Because for now, both sides 0 points. This is turn 10 already, so we're definitely getting into the mid game. I would say that the runner has a decent setup, but kind of low on money. They really need some additional econ onto the table. That Armitage trash was quite something. On the other hand, the Corp is not doing too well either, and they don't have a very well developed board state here. So unless they start getting, well, okay, 3 hedges in the bin, so they have to start getting some more money in different ways. On the other hand, the runner ran out of extra draw, diesels and the Earthrise off the game as well for now. So both sides struggling in different ways in a way. And indeed, the Corp not being able to take advantage of that Ghost Branch. Absolutely unfortunate. The 4 tags were quite juicy, but they only went so far because the runner was quite prepared with their credits, and a lack of closed accounts on the Corp side definitely didn't help them with that. And closed accounts is a legal card in this format, so one has to wonder, like, they didn't have it in this build maybe, or they just say that they didn't have it in their hand at the moment. That Caddy Jones gets additional credits, and now we have Aesop sitting at the table as well on the runner side, which is super good because those ice analyzers, if they're not useful, they're still 3 credits each. So that's value. That's 6 credits sitting there in those 2 cards. which is never a bad thing. You could even pawn a scrubber if you so desired. All the other cards on your tableau here on your side of the table are kind of important to your game plan. Scrubber is always useful, but again, in a pinch, you could actually trash the scrubber. There we go, the first ice analyzer out, and the corp in the meantime just built up server 4 with additional defenses, and this is getting interesting because now it's kind of like playing a shell game with the corp trying to figure out where exactly is the agenda.
I'm very happy with it. Oh, come on!
Ooh, and the legwork. That's a value run. Roll them bones.
Sea Source, not a good card to see. Psychographics,
Psycho.
oh wow, there you go. And Trick of Light. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a lot of options on the corp side.
Alright. So that's what I was thinking. Like, you can advance the trap. If they run it, sure. If they don't, then you have a battery to use Trick of Light off of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet for a sec because I have to figure something out in the background here that's not related to Netrunner, so feel free to just keep going.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Alright. So we've got Aesop sitting at the table as well. That already happened, obviously, but I'm not sure there are many targets for Aesops right now. The Ice Analyzer, potentially. We'll see where we go from here. So we've got a Sea Source coming out, which doesn't seem like a great idea unless it's just to tax them on money. 5 credits. Taxing 5 credits on the runner is always fine. Ooh, he's boosting the trace. So let's see what he does with this. Takes attack. Interesting. This could be followed up by, for example, a closed counts. Otherwise, I don't really see the point. Oh yeah, to trash Katie. That makes a lot of sense. Get away some of that, in air quotes, permanent economy. But that does also put him on 2 credits. Which doesn't leave a lot of room for anything. Credits, which means there's not a lot of ice that can be rezzed, which also means that unless they're tracer ice there, the runner can basically kind of run with impunity here. But yeah, it's scary. To have 2 single advance cards, what could they be? They could be traps. We've already seen a Ghost Branch, so we'll have to see. Can check into the chat real quick here. Jessica pointing out that core Ambien is missing 2 good to be true TGTBT, which is a really cool card. Unfortunately, that rotated. I've gone to that several times. Just like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna throw TGTBT in here, and oh yeah, that rotated. I keep forgetting that. There used to be a really cool. Oh, sorry, we've got a score of a Explodapalooza. So putting Winkenugget ahead by 2 points now. Obviously, he was hoping that that would be stolen, so he would get an extra 5 credit burst. Bit of an economy swing. But yeah, getting back to TGTBT, too good to be true. there used to be a really fun deck called Nearpad, which basically played a lot of tagging things. It was an acid spam NEH deck, I believe, with dedicated response teams. So the way that it worked was when you ran and hit a TGTBT or a snare, you would take the tag, which with the dedicated response teams would do extra damage, and it was a lot of fun. But if you knew how to play against it, you could dismantle it pretty easily. I tried playing Nearpad for a while out of CTM as well. That was fun. But CTM, or controlling the message, has less influence, so that was a lot harder to do. I am going to drop out for 2 seconds. I will be right back.
I'm here. I was just checking something in the background, just making sure that I actually have all the right information to share. We're not really same member because we're setting up some things in the background, and you know, I cannot just tell you everything about everything, but well, it's all secret information in certain circles, just to make it a bigger surprise. It's kind of like preparing a how do you call it? A birthday party. And I think now the game is still on because server 4 still has a card that's advanced, and that's probably Ghost Branch again. Maybe in an attempt to lure the runner into running and getting some more tags. Oof.
The Data Raven.
Data Raven indeed.
Can break it, but it's also take a tag.
Yeah. It is taxing in its own little way.
Data Raven's all about tempo.
Yeah.
I'll use a click and 2 credits to clear the tag.
But you're gonna see 3 cards. What could possibly go wrong? That could be game actually, given that there's only 24 cards in R&D. One of these could be a priority requisition. Oof, that was close.
Well.
And now the runner definitely way ahead of the corp. They have to either protect R&D a bit better because that's a liability, or score out, or both.
Paper Trail is actually a pretty interesting agenda in this format, especially with making news.
Yeah.
Because you can pump 2 extra credits into the trace, so a trace 8, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the economy in core, in System Core 2019 was about resources. So when there were some System Core events, people who analyzed the card pool very fast were like, yeah, wait a second, Paper Trail is just broken. Like, it's, you have to remember that this is, it's so bad if it happens. Like, yep. And that was one of the supports for NBN in this particular card pool.
Also a very fun card to play against Geist.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Because it's connection resources, and tech traders are connections.
That
you
is,
can blow up a Geist board state with it if you can score it at the right time.
that is true. We are still about 50 minutes away from the end of the round. That Pat campaign shall not stay on the table, apparently, because that scrubber is getting, you know, a bit twitchy, and also you're putting the pressure on the corp here, because if they don't raise that piece of ice, That path campaign will be off the table. It is going to cost you 2 credits, but you're making money with the ASOPs, and the Scrubber is giving you a discount. While the Corp only has 5 credits, so yeah, if they res it. If it was, let's be honest, if it was a pop-up window, for example, then that pop-up window, of course, would have gotten res because it's only money for the Corp, no problem there whatsoever. But otherwise, do you really want to spend money? Does it really make sense to tax the runner just a bit for something that they can easily recover from? And here the Corp took the decision not to care much about Server 5 and just let it go. Oh, I quoted a Disney movie. I'm so cool.
Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah. I learned the other day that Twitch has this thing where people actually sing on stream and apparently it's entertaining. I'm like, okay. Maybe if you have
Let's not. I would like to spare the viewers that.
No. The thing is, like, you know, if there is a certain type of streamers on Twitch that are super entertaining. They have they're like 150% personality, outgoing, and so on and so on. So I am not that person. I don't know about you, but I am not that person. So I'm not gonna be singing here. I could sing in a karaoke if we had one. Well, anyway. Okay.
We've got a marked accounts. That's interesting.
Indeed, I like this is one of those cards that I love to play in NBN decks, and not only because it's only one influence, but I loved it so much because it has 5 cost to trash, 0 cost to res, and yeah, of course it takes a click, but then it's basically a path campaign for 3 turns. It is more expensive to trash, and it costs you nothing. Like why wouldn't you? So yeah.
Okay, here we're going in for the kill. Going to the data raven.
This is gonna be game. I'm saying, like, I'm calling it right now. This is gonna be game.
B. Gotta trust your deck.
Yeah, but
maybe.
But
R&D will hold out.
But no, 3 cards. No, that's an agenda. Sorry. There we go. Called it. So a strong showing here by the runner, getting up to 9 points. The Corp couldn't really keep up with the tempo, I guess, and just that R&D lock was a bit too much to handle. Unfortunate they didn't get any agendas at the right time. Let's take a look at 4. Oh, they just finished table 4, perhaps, because we still have people playing there, I hope. Let's just jump in table 4. And we are going to scroll the way down and take a look here, and we have Gabe.
Table 3 just started, if that's...
Oh, shoot, okay. We're on table 4, we have Gabe versus Wayland, but yeah, I can, of course, yeah, sure. Table 3. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, let's do this. Wayland versus Leela Patel. Absolutely. I just thought, yeah, because people started hopping out. I was like, are they finishing already? But no, they're just replaying. Okay, so...
Hi, chat.
Hi. On behalf of the chat, hi.
Can you hear in the background?
Oh no, I was just laughing at what Cookit was writing. No, are people clapping in or something? No.
No, never mind.
Okay. So yeah,
it's what I was saying on private message.
Private message as well, you know. Private messages shall remain private. Actually, I shouldn't be streaming Netrunner tonight. I should be streaming Apex Legends. The season started yesterday, and I started playing again. Oh, never mind. Back to Netrunner. R&D being pushed here hard by Ila because, and there you go, you're gonna bounce that ice back from HQ for sure.
Yeah.
Oaktown, ouch. That's...
Bounce that back. Come on, bounce that back. Now the problem is... if he runs HQ and hits a 3-pointer, well, that could be grounds for double punitive.
No, but he doesn't have any clicks left, so...
Oh yeah.
So that's it. But a triple punitive will kill him, just saying. And the Corp has the means to pull it off. Because they have 9 credits, which is basically punitive, punitive, punitive. Trace is 5. Leela has 0 link. Boom! I mean, punitive.
Doesn't have enough credits for triple punitive, I don't think.
It is. Well, they do. It's 9 credits, so punitive is 3. The thing is, they would have to have 3 punitives. That's the trick.
Yeah, this early in the game seems unlikely.
Well, we've seen a triple punitive tonight already. I think now the Corp is doing some quick math. No, I'm kidding, of course. I mean, it's very unlikely at this stage of the game. I mean, why would you begin your game with, you know, double punitive and no money or no ice? Like, that's kind of risky.
Exactly.
Quick question, actually, but this is the thing that we were discussing the other day with nobody serious about anything, but it was an interesting question about Netrunner. Would you say that a double mulligan is something that should be tried? So basically you can mulligan twice?
No.
Why not?
I don't have
Okay, fair enough. No, it's
a reason for it. That just feels bad.
okay.
I like the idea of like you get a hand and you can either keep it or risk getting a completely new hand, but then you have to keep that.
What about the partial mulligan, where you get a hand and then you can keep some cards, discard others, shuffle them back in, and then draw the remaining cards up to whatever you have to start with?
There's a lot of games that do that, like Ashes, for example. I don't like the fact that you get to sculpt your hand at the beginning of the game. It just kind of goes against the high risk, high reward
Well, yeah, that's the rest of the
style of Netrunner that
No, I'm kidding.
I really like.
Okay.
I mean, like, a lot of Netrunner and a lot of the things that I like about it is it's a game of sort of risk management. And I kind of if you let people sculpt their hand at the beginning of the game, it kind of takes a lot of that away.
Fair enough. Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is a totally innocent, innocuous question of just like, could this actually make things slightly different and so on.
That's a wasted legwork there.
That's a value ice wall. Come on, like for one to break such
ice
a good
wall.
card.
It's so good. I just really love that little piece of ice.
However, Liz Campbell was not impressed. Just saying. I asked for a nice as impenetrable as a wall. I can't decide if someone down in R&D has a warped sense of humor or just a very literal mind. Excuse me. And then there's Firewall, and if you read the flavor text on Firewall, you will see the sequel to this.
Yeah, there's a couple of ones that have that.
Yeah.
For example, it's rotated, which is unfortunate. But there used to be a little piece of ice. Why is this not working?
I don't know. Because it's broken.
There we go. A little piece of ice called Quandary.
Oh, yes. Oh, we loved Quandary. Pop and Quandary, they were all cool.
And Quandary has the flavor text. It wants to have 2 separate teens when it grows up. And then you have
Enigma, which is a Quandary that's bigger and has 2 subroutines. Woo!
And it says, hey, wake up, and you were under a long time. What did you see? I don't remember. But it's like a little cute thing with Enigma into Quandary. Quandary into Enigma, sorry.
And then you also have Conundrum, right?
Conundrum was the other one. Indeed.
It's a family. But which team is that? Because they're not Team Cat.
I don't know what they are. Team Question?
Team Enigma. Like, I don't know what they are. Dun, 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 dun. In the meantime, the runner is putting extra pressure on the Corp, but the Corp scored, and I think this is huge, a priority requisition and an archer rest in that remote is big.
Yep.
This is big, my friends. To quote a famous vampire. This is exactly why, well, why we have the runner leg working again, because they can. I love the idea of this being a triple core tournament, because you really can play, for example, legworks can play 3 off, and that's very strong. You can just build more reliably decks that do certain things and flesh out the particular strategies for each faction better. So, oh, there we go. I mean, that was a value play.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah, that's just... Ooh, Envelope, Wall of Thorns, Chiashi. Oh, that's an interesting combo as well. I mean, I love Chiashi. And I used to love Wall of Thorns and try to make it work as well, but it didn't. And Envelope is cool. That is true. Oh no, indeed. Yeah, this is heartbreaking. This is, this is like, I don't know. This is like nerfing a very good piece of ice.
Yeah, shoring up that HQ. Just stop them from doing that again.
Okay, Gullet Crusher. I know you can say that it stings, but basically that would be only if somebody scores a sting. No, I'm kidding. Okay, no. That does sting indeed, and yeah. Emergency shutdown makes a lot of sense in this format, not only because of archery, but because of Tollbooth as well, because of, well, like I already mentioned, Wall of Thorns. But yeah, you definitely can punish the corp as a criminal for rezzing expensive ice that you want them to not have there.
And just using the basic action card to click up for money.
What's the art on the basic action card? I think I asked this question already, but like there.
I do not know.
Should be some image.
Wasn't there in the core set? Wasn't there like a
No,
card
of course.
that had an overview of
yes,
all the?
absolutely. But I wish it had some art on it. It's just like it's so important. It gets used very often, but it doesn't have any art. So you don't have any good recollections of like this was cute or this has an alt art or whatever.
I believe that you can actually order those on Make Playing cards.
Oh, they're like community-made special cards that explain the game. Ah.
Yeah, like a little cheat sheet card. Last time I made an order from NPC, Luke from Switzerland ordered. I asked if anybody wanted to get in on the order to make it cheaper, and Luke ordered a bunch of those just little cheat sheet cards.
Cool.
For his local meta, which is pretty sweet.
It's very thoughtful, yeah. And I think bulk orders are the way to go, indeed.
Ooh, that's a caduceus.
Haven't seen that piece of ice
or
in a while.
Caduceus. I don't know how to pronounce it. I always say caduceus.
Cadontrons.
Caduceus. I'm not sure.
Caduceus. Well, anyway. Rock me, Caduceus. But yeah. I think it's caduceus. I'm gonna look it up.
I took Latin when I was in school, but I really don't remember.
You could take Latin, that's cool. I mean, for me it was illegal. Like, no, I'm kidding, but like... Okay, there's an English pronunciation.
Caduceus.
Caduceus. Okay.
Caduceus. Yep, makes sense.
Okay, fair enough.
Pop-up window into ice wall. Yeah, that seems fine. For a single axis, let's see what this gets us.
I just have to say, for Wayland, these pieces of ice, apart from that archer that got de-rezzed, this is just cheap. It's like, we're Wayland and we're building a better world, but it's not made with ice, it's made with other things, maybe.
It's basically what he's trying to do is basically just get enough money to pump out an agenda and punitive the heck out of the runner.
Okay.
I think that's what he's going for.
Okay, makes sense.
I mean, the court player right now, the one aka Neo, he is a local Belgian player. He lives on the coast, and he hasn't been playing for well, he's been playing for a while now. I'd say about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually quite a good player. He has some really bad luck in tournaments, but he's pretty decent. Oh, so we've got an inside job here. This is going to be a costly affair for the corp.
And I was just going to say that I keep pronouncing his username as the one Akaneo. But yeah, it is also known as Neo, and of course, and the Matrix and so on. But I think
We call him Bart, so it's fine.
Oh. Or you could just go Theo Nicaneo. Theo Nicaneo. I think that's a cool one. Theo Nicaneo. Or Theon.
One aka Neo.
Theon Icaneo. That's kind of African meeting Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Fun fact, there's somebody else playing in this little event here called Shiro.
Yes.
And the one aka Nero and Shiro are cousins.
Oh.
They started playing the game together, so they started coming out to events together, which is really sweet.
That's so cool. Family feuds, they can have them now.
Yeah, they do sometimes, or like even very often, tend to get paired against each other in the first round, which is always funny.
Jessica made a very good point right now. There was a play possible here, which was resing that what's his name, Spiderweb, and then forfeiting 3 points, but resing the archer and just trashing the runner's rig. That would have been quite big. On the other hand, that's 3 points, which is kind of serious, and the Tollbooth did its job, and now server 2 is still getting cards in there, so yeah, it's all about options.
I'm gonna call it now that that's an Atlas.
Yeah.
For the people at home, Project Atlas.
For the people on holidays, also Project Atlas.
Yeah.
Like everybody's at home now, dude. If you're not at home right now, you're lucky.
For the people slacking off with their jobs and watching this.
Project Atlas. Well, is anybody watching the stream right now not at home? You don't have to say where you are, but if you're on the chat, and if you can tell us if you're not at home, then yeah, then maybe we have to come up with some ways of explaining cards to you for those people not at home.
Yeah, what's going on? What's everybody doing?
I don't know. Like, I'm at home. Everybody else is at home.
You're on public transportation. You're watching this on your phone, maybe.
You lucky people in public transportation. I'm pretty sure one person could easily write, "I'm on my private jet flying to this business meeting on those tropical islands," and I'm just...
Same thing that we're doing. Like we are actually not. We just didn't want to brag about it, but we're not actually at home. We're on a private jet to Dubai.
Yeah, exactly. That all the noises you hear in the background. It's not my stomach just rumbling. It's it's the private jet.
Vesper and I were off to meet some.
Some
people,
to sell the rights to sign a contract to stream Netrunner games on like the biggest sports channels, on regular TV, because it's like people are so into it. Oh, Liz Mills! For people at home, Elizabeth Mills, but Lizzie Mills, no, she's awesome. I think if I ever wanted to meet somebody interesting and avoid them the rest of my life, that would be this person. But yeah.
Who is, if I'm not wrong, I could be wrong, but if I believe Elizabeth Mills is the head of the board of the Wayland Consortium.
I think she might be one of the main people in it, yeah, because the board basically has the spokesperson, which is on timely public release, right? So he's speaking for the board, but yeah.
Yeah, but Elizabeth Mills is on Fast Track.
Mm-hmm.
Scorched Earth.
She's in many different places. Yep.
I think she's the head of the board of the Wayland Corporation Consortium.
Yeah, she's one of the people who kicked Jack
used
Wayland
to be Jack Wayland, but
we
don't actually know what happened to Jack Wayland.
He got ousted by the board. Yeah, pushed aside.
He got boosted out, but that's why the space elevator, which everyone refers to as the Beanstalk.
Yep.
That's why it's referred to as the Beanstalk, because it's Jack's Beanstalk.
Indeed, it's not phallic at all, and he's not, he's not compensating for anything. Not at all. Going back to the thread with people doing stuff. So yeah, we have Tenor Gaming locked at home, no work for opera singers. Oh geez, you should make a concert on Twitch or something, or on YouTube. And I'm not kidding. People would be delighted probably to have some music. And then we have Shiro drinking beer in Belgium. Jessica has her own evening, not doing much. Indeed, we took Jessica away from reading a book. And Gullet Crusher is finishing work from home. So yeah.
What kind of beer are you drinking, Shiro?
Belgian beer, probably in Belgium.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Laurent, what kind of beer are you drinking?
When in Belgium, you should totally get like I don't know, like you could get a. I'm thinking.
There are so many different beers in Belgium.
No,
I
but
can't even start. Oh, it's a Rochefort 10.
I would get a
That's
Heineken and just go like, delicious.
If you drink a Heineken in Belgium, people will just like
destroy you. People would scorch earth you.
Yeah. In Belgium, Heineken isn't considered beer.
Well, here neither. So I mean, at least by me. Sorry, it's a very personal thing. Although I haven't had beer in a while. Well,
I know a lot of people here I know several people here who enjoy Heineken. And that's fine.
Of course, yeah.
But I personally don't like it. But yeah, if you're in Belgium, there's so many amazing beers that you can have. Please do not drink Heineken. Like,
it's offensive to the people who live there and work there and all those beers.
It's one of our national prides, okay? We are good at making beer.
Yeah.
I would absolutely recommend Duvel if you're ever in Belgium.
The Duvel is in the details, as they say. Okay, the runner now moneying up. We were just chatting happily away, and the runner was fairly poor for quite a bit of the game, but now that liberated account, that Caddy Jones, this is gonna put pressure on a corp that
Another Caduceus.
Yeah, the corp has the money to run. And okay, if you're rich, Caduceus makes sense because the traces might fire, and why not? That's not a bad option as well. It pays for itself. If the first trace fires, it stops the run if the second trace fires. Problem is, Mimic can break it for 2 credits, so
That's true. But still 4 credits to break that server from now on.
Yeah.
And until they get that, basically you're going to always let that first one fire so they res it for free.
Yeah. How is Belgium wine or whiskey? That's an interesting question.
Not great.
For
I don't
wine.
even know if there's Belgian wine. I know that there's a couple of different Belgian whiskies. I would not recommend them.
Yeah, I would say for wine, go to the wine countries, and for whiskey, go to Scotland, Ireland, US, Japan.
Those states have a few different. Well, I wouldn't say that they're whiskeys, but like
Bourbons.
there's some decent like bourbons and stuff. Yeah, we got a stim hack
Indeed, there was this
and a fairy on the board. Here we go.
Yeah, the most famous bourbon in the US was called Conan the Bourbonian. So.
I think the most famous, non-bourbon is probably Jack Daniel's, which isn't actually a bourbon. Because Jack Daniel's is from Tennessee, and to be classified as a bourbon, it has to be made in Kentucky.
Not in Louisiana? Okay, cool. Well.
Nope, bourbon has to come from Kentucky.
Okay.
It's like saying Scotch.
Oh, so KFC could take it and sell it in KFC.
Yeah, I don't know. Technically, I guess.
Anyway.
But my favorite bourbon is called Bullet Bourbon, which if you smell it, it smells like oranges.
Is it made of bullets?
No. It's Bulli. Hang on.
A bullet, like the character by Steve McQueen, or like okay.
I don't know. Okay. It's a really nice bottle, and the smell that it has, it really smells like tangerines. It smells really nice. It's a really, really nice bourbon. It's a bit pricey though. But yeah, I don't know where you are, but smacking down that Oaktown. Sorry.
Makes perfect sense. And there was a contract killer in server 2, which cost the runner some brain damage. But I think it was a good play because otherwise that could have been the nice combo between a punitive and a contract killer. And I love the contract killer's haircut. I would never put that on my head, but it looks awesome in this card.
That's a hallmark of knowing what you're doing, like throwing something in there, dragging them through the remote so that they go low on credits, and then popping in the agenda, knowing that they probably can't do that again.
And that's probably going to be game. The runner is very low on credits. Elizabeth Mills not getting trashed, I'm pretty sure of that. And now 12 credits, final click. Do you do this? Do we have the math for running this server? Well, 3 credits on this, and then, or you can even bypass it. I think I would actually bypass it with the
Yep. You can bypass it by trashing
with
the Abagnale.
Yeah, I would do that because otherwise it's gonna be too much, or maybe not too much, but like, yeah, I don't know. Unless the corp still has another agenda in their hand, which would be quite problematic for the runner. Basically, it's all about jamming now.
Like right now, the Oaktown doesn't really matter. It doesn't win them the game.
Mm. Well, no, it
The
does.
only other server, if they break this, the only other server that can get into is HQ.
Yeah, no, it does win the game for the corp though. That's the problem here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if the corp loses this agenda, the runner still doesn't win,
Absolutely, yeah.
and they got 2 free credits off of advancing the Oaktown, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's right now. It's all about making them poor,
Yep.
right? And we know he's holding at least 1 punitive.
Yep. This is the
Oh,
clutch.
so they
code
can't.
here.
Nah, okay, there. Bypasses by trashing the Abagnale, steals it.
So wait, bypassing Tobu still costs 3 credits?
Nope,
Okay, so we should maybe fix that for them because I think
I
he was.
don't think so.
Okay.
I know with like Fem or Afterimage, it doesn't trigger.
Okay. Well, that.
But we're not TOs.
That's one thing. Yeah. Oh, it does still cost. And Jessica, I totally trust Jessica. So okay, it does still cost.
Okay.
And that's
I know with
game.
Afterimage it shouldn't, but
That's well, but Afterimage only passes sentries, right? Well, anyway, that was a flat
it's on
line.
the encounter phase. Maybe I don't know. It's on the approach phase. Maybe I don't.
Okay, which game do we still have on? New Table 4. There may have been some technical issues they had there.
Right. I am gonna pop out again because I have a bladder the size of a ping pong ball. I will be right back.
Too much information. But yeah, really well played by the Corp, and indeed. Because of Abagnale's warning, you can only bypass while encountering, so it's currently being encountered indeed instead of when encountered. See, that's exactly why knowing a language is important, and I'm just bad at this. We have the Corp on 6 points here, and it's not looking good for the runner, although they do have a decent board state, but not that much money. And this is the tricky part here. You are playing against Wayland's. Wayland's gonna have a ton of money. There's an Archerist. That remote is just painful to look at. I mean, it's just so much stuff to pass. So my guess is that the runner has some outs here, but they would have to draw, run twice, and then the final thing would have to be a stim hack. Okay, well that's still doable though, and this is the fun part. So they have Abagnale, which to break the Horton you need 4 credits for, which you don't have, but now you do. Oh no, that's not gonna be enough. That's simply not enough. Unfortunately, because there is a play where you run first click if you had the option. You could run HQ past the Hortum and then emergency shut down the Archer at the very least, and then maybe try contest. Maybe try contest server 2, but that server 2 is deadly. I mean, Archer, oof. Hortum, not a bad piece of ice at all. And then that final card, Toll Booth, super painful here. And yeah, Marilyn campaign. I actually know a person called Marilyn, so I'm sending like virtual greetings to Marilyn, even though she's not a Netrunner player. But yeah, and that's gonna be game. I don't think the Corp is gonna delay much more scoring at Oaktown. There's no point to do that. It is indeed a GG. I'm going to leave the game here. And let's take a look at table 5. Are they still on? They are still on Indeed. So here we, oh well, there we go. Agendas, okay, I just walked into a table and there's an agenda win, but the runner had so much money, 84 credits, wow, that's a huge amount, and I think a big part of it was the professional contacts on the table, because that card is very nice. Okay, I think we're nearing the end of the round here. There's basically nobody else playing. So let me just analyze the situation.
I'm checking in on the Discord.
I believe we might be done here, although not all the results are reported, so I assume people are just taking it easy. It is a Wednesday night, so people can just chill.
Seems table 5 is still going.
I think they finished.
Yeah, maybe they're still chatting, and I mean, one of the two players there is the tournament organizer, so
Yeah.
So before, let me just quickly check. Do we still have 12 people on the stream?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, listening to us rant about random things and Netrunner and music and whiskey and whatever. We're not gonna close off quite yet. We're seeing how the end of the tournament here is going, but we may have a bit of an announcement before the stream is over, so stay tuned.
Announcement. Ooh, now I'm excited. Do I know what is it about?
Yeah, well, we were talking about it yesterday, so.
Oh, the end of the world. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, everybody, I'm gonna tell you when the end of the world is. Well, no, actually, not really. Wait, no, actually, I think table 4 is still going. Wait, I was just checking the time. Ooh. Let's take a quick look. Oh, yeah, it's a remake. We have a game. We're on it. We're on like Donkey Kong. Or it's on like
Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I actually, this week, watched a documentary about the King of Kong.
Is that
If you're like interested in this kind of weird stuff, there's actually a YouTube documentary called The King of Kong about the world record holders for the original arcade Donkey Kong.
they Kong
And
so
there's a
hard
lot
that
of like conspiracy theories about it, like people cheated and stuff, and it was actually quite an entertaining watch.
Yeah.
But I'm weird and I like these kind of things, so.
Yeah, fair enough. It sounds interesting. I mean, I love watching documentaries about video games, especially about video games that I played, or, you know. Earlier today, I was watching some 8-bit music from Commodore 64 games, and I was just getting very nostalgic because there was so much stuff there I remember playing, and I remember, in many cases, I remember the music much better because it's just so cool than the gameplay, but the nostalgia.
I've got Ed chiming in on the chat saying The King of Kong is amazing. Yeah, it is. It's a really interesting documentary to watch. It's about an hour and a half. And there are so many extra YouTube videos and stuff about it, like how people could have potentially cheated and stuff. And I don't know. It's if it's something that's up your alley, you like watching like quirky documentaries. It's absolutely. I would absolutely recommend it.
I think there was also another one about Tetris, which is one of the biggest, best-selling games of all time. This is not a very good start for the Corp at all, I have to say, though. This is serious business.
The one aka Neo is chiming in by saying it's not that weird and it's a very well-known documentary.
Yeah.
I'd never heard about it before this week. I don't know where I picked it up. I saw something on YouTube or saw something on Facebook probably, and went, I want to investigate this. It's cool. So if you take a minute to continue talking about the game,
Oh, sure, of course.
I will check in with the Discord.
I shall, absolutely. And I have to say that the Corp is playing here very boldly. I don't even know if they mulligan or not. They kept their hand. Okay, well, that's an interesting play. And I think they may be frozen for some reason. Nope, it's just about thinking. And yeah, what do you do here? Server 2 is... I'm interested, actually. What's in server 2? Okay. Well, hey. Wow, though. This is looking very tough for the corp. I would probably just... I don't know what. Install the... Yeah, maybe the asset. And then drew another card or credit it up. This is not... And this is one of the... Yeah, especially if you're... Let's say you're a new player or you're playing... You haven't played for so long. When situations like this happen, when you really have to deal with a lot of stuff... that is... Yeah, it's like... You just learn exactly how how you say it in the chat is... This is just acting cool, and on JNet is so much easier. So this is one of the reasons why, of course, also like to play on JNet without the voice comms with my opponent while I play, actually, because when I play and my voice just goes like, then yeah, of course, like I'm probably drawing into something as the corp that I'm not a big fan of. And also this is one of the reasons why teaching the game is much easier for corp players, because then you explain it to the runner, and then the runner just doesn't have any secret information. They can ask you questions, and it's like they kind of give their game away maybe a bit. But you know, if you would have a corp player asking you questions like, "What does this card? What does that card do?" That wouldn't work too well.
Yeah, that.
Maybe this is a teaching game actually, because I'm guessing the players here are just discussing, you know, like no ice in my hand, I should be protecting HQ and so on and so forth. Data sucker, okay. And R&D, and that's a dig, and that's a solid play because R&D is open and there are new fresh cards on top. So absolutely. And here we go. That could be a whiff. It is a whiff. Crisium is 5 credits to trash, but the runner goes for it. Okay, because they really want to farm those data sucker tokens. Oh, another runner R&D? I thought they checked it already. Did they trash something though from R&D? Oh, I'm actually... Nope. Oh yeah, okay. Indeed, that was a misclick, basically. And I'm thinking, and that's another interesting option. Oh, that's the second agenda. Unlucky for the corp, but I'm thinking it could be potentially good, probably hard to pull off on JNet, but to have an overlay that puts those actions that usually are in the buttons on the side right next to your panel, which are very clear already, and I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, I'm just thinking about an experiment, where instead of that, for example, if you click run, you would actually see the different servers you're running on. So they would be physically represent, or the buttons would be kind of put on that spot on the screen. So if you're running R&D, it would be pointing to that part. If you would be running archives, it would be pointing to that part, and so on. It would probably be much easier to not make mistakes. But then again, if you stack servers, I don't know. I mean, it all depends. It all depends. This is looking dicey indeed. Okay, so what is going on in Discord? Oh yeah, actually, we have very interesting questions in the Discord. Like, is this game a part of the tournament? It might be. Chances are, but I think by the manner in which the two players are casually discussing the situation, and my knowledge of Italian is limited but my knowledge of Latin languages is good enough to know that they are definitely talking about who has what in hand and why. That could just be a fun learning game for both of them.
Yeah, the tournament organizer said they were up for games. They needed a bathroom break and get a drink and stuff. So I have no idea if this game is still part of the event or it's wrapped up. I don't know. Are all the scores on Cobra or?
It is a teaching game indeed. I mean, it looks like it. And I don't think all the scores are there. We're getting there. No, not really. I mean, this pairings scores are still missing, and Ivor and Nuts Exe also hasn't been reported just yet. So
Just waiting for Orbit to get back and
Yeah.
give us some clarity. But until then, we can still talk about this game.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, no, we've been talking about so many different cool things that we can also talk about this game. But I think.
Yeah. Okay, we've got confirmation. This is still part of the event.
Wow. Okay. So they're just okay. I'm wondering how many squirrels you get if you execute Nuts Exe. Like, Well, anyway, not a serious question. Well, we're not gonna try executing a person. No, executing a program. Fair enough. There's so many programs running on this thing right now. Oh. Part of the event. Okay. So we have a new player, and yeah, okay, awesome. And yeah, I think this is the fun part when you just have a game and you can even explain how to put it. I would say it this way: you could be explaining the game in a way that's kind of against your better result, because this is not about the result. The result of the game you're playing to teach somebody is so that this person plays again. That's the win. It doesn't really matter who has points. So yeah. And it's an interesting educational experience. I think I learned a lot about teaching from teaching people games in general. I mean, I taught different things at different points for different reasons, professionally as well. But teaching games is a very interesting and rewarding experience for the person teaching, but also for the people learning, because it can really, the way you play or the way you learn how to play or the way you learn about play can tell you a lot about preferences, personalities, and all that stuff. So I find it one of the best experiences to meet people and to kind of just get to know them better is to teach them a game or to be taught a game by them and play a game with them.
Yeah. I've done it a few times as well when I've taught people Netrunner, is I would just play with open hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first game or two, just like, okay, this is my hand, this is your hand, and just install things and tell my opponent why I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that they kind of get like, oh, okay, yeah, this is how this works, and oh, and this is how I break, or this is how I defend, or this is whatever, just playing with the simple old core set.
Yeah.
And it does give people a greater insight. And then, like, after a game or two, you could say, okay, so we've got it. Do you want to play with the regular way so you can't see my cards, or I can't see your cards, and you want to try that? And if they've gotten one like one game in with just like open hands, it makes them a lot more how to put it, like Jesus, I can't think of the word. Like, they'll be more confident in their play once they kind of understand the mechanics and know what's going on.
Yeah. We have an interesting question. Like, is there any way of playing games open-handed on JNet? At this very moment, there is no default option to do so, but you can probably... That's what I would try. You can just have multiple accounts, which I do for different reasons, don't ask me. But basically, you play with some accounts, and then you use a Smurf account to log in and spectate. And you can even close the game off with a password, which means you're basically going to have this virtual table just for yourself and your Smurf account, and you just have a second screen open, and you can definitely walk people through things.
So open hands is only for people who are spectating the game.
Yes. Indeed.
But it could be something like it could be something that's interesting to implement. I don't think it would be much work. But on the other hand, I really wouldn't want to overload Noah with like new things because he's working on a lot of stuff, which I cannot spoil right now. But there's a lot of new, cool, and interesting changes coming to Jinteki.net.
Oh yeah, you heard about it as well. Okay, so this is the part exactly. I mean, I've been messaging about this in the background here as well, and that's the thing that I totally agree. Spoiling something, it would be like breaking Christmas in a way, because this is a volunteer project, and Noah and the crew will deliver things when they deliver them, so no pressure on them. But the things I've seen, like the idea is awesome.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen at home, there are some really cool new things coming to JNet. Stay tuned. We cannot tell you what they are. But yeah, loading up Noah with new things like, can you do this, can you do that? I really want to, don't want to divert his attention.
Yeah. Bye, Shiro. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening, and thank you for playing. Maybe,
Laurent, thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks for playing. Cheers. See you next time.
I believe
on Saturday, I'm hoping.
Yeah, exactly. Saturday, remember, Antwerp Store Championship online on JNet, exactly where we are right now. You can play from anywhere on the planet. And Sunday, streaming the Burn Store Championship.
It will. The entire event will be streamed by Vesper, because Vesper's Stream Shake is bringing all the folks to the cyber yard.
I was actually going to ask you, is the event going to start at 10 and then it's going to go for like 12 hours or something? Because I was counting the time, looking at the timetable. I was like, wait a minute. So you start a registration, then it starts around 11, let's say. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so the first round is going to start at 11 Central European time. For reference, that is at 10 a.m. British Standard Time. It's 5 a.m. In Toronto. That's what I know, but and we're gonna play 2 rounds, then we're gonna have a break, and then we're gonna have 3 more rounds, and then we'll do the announcements after Swiss and stuff, and then we'll see when the top 4 players, how long of a break that they need to run the top 4. But I'm assuming it should be finished by around 7:30 to 8 Central European time. So it's going to be a long day, but
yep. Sounds good. We finished this game, which was a teaching game, an event game, everything together. This was a 2-rounder of triple system core decks, which was fun to watch, and it was fun to spend time with you, my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, now actually, from what I understand, people are still looking forward to playing a bit, because there are some people hanging on the Discord. So if people on the stream want to join some games of potentially core system core Netrunner, but maybe something different as well, I don't know, then I don't know how to hook people up. Like, should we give them an invite to the Discord? I mean, are they already in Discord? Some of them probably already are.
Alright, I can post a Discord link in the chat.
That would be cool. Yeah, so if you're already on this event, you're already on that Discord. If you're not, and if you're interested, we're just dropping the link there right now. Thank you so much.
That's
is
a link
good.
to the Belgian Discord. If anybody wants to play some games, drop into the Belgian Discord and talk to somebody, see if anybody wants to play. I don't know. Do you want to keep streaming, or you want to sign off, or what's
Yeah,
your
I just
plan?
noticed it's 11 and I have a thing at 6 in the morning, so I better go
Yeah.
and sleep because, quarantine stuff and so on. I would love to play, but it's a bit too late for me at this moment. But thank you so much. This was
Okay, then there's a couple of
absolute
last things that I want to plug.
last things. Okay, plugging the last things. Tell us everything. All the spoilers.
Yes, so for the 9 people who are still watching, okay, how do I put this?
English.
We may have, in the foreseeable future, we may be running a Shadows of the Beanstalk small campaign or a one-shot. I'll have to see. I still have to do some prep work for it. So if anybody's interested in seeing some live action role playing within the Android universe, Vesper, I believe you said you would be very interested in playing along.
Absolutely.
So if anybody's interested in that, let us know in the chat. Let us know on other channels, and we'll get that rolling, and we can maybe have some other Android content for you guys.
Ooh.
And again, just to sign off, this Saturday, Antwerp Store Championship. I would love it if you would all come out and play. Tell your friends.
I'm gonna break the screen.
Tell your neighbors. Tell anybody. Tell your dog. Tell your cat. Tell your pigeons on your balcony.
I'm gonna
Come
break
out and
the screen
play.
a bit, yeah.
Antwerp Store Championship. The event is on Always Be Running. The prizes will be sent to your home. So I'm hoping to see you all there.
I'm making this even bigger, like the biggest banner ever. Like, yeah, this is actually a lovely banner, by the way. I have no idea who made it.
That
but
was
it's awesome.
Princess Space Kitten made that for me.
Oh, amazing! Well done. This looks really cool. Yeah, so you should be there because we're gonna be streaming this. I will not be participating because I'm such a good player, but I will have loads of fun and loads of rotating guests. I hope to get actually people to hop around, if of course anybody will be available for co-commentating and just chatting and having fun. This was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I will see you all on Saturday for sure and Sunday most likely. And in the meantime, always be at home. Safety first. You've had worse. What else? Any motivational cards we can quote?
Not that I know of, but yeah, stay safe, everybody, and thank you all for watching. It's been great.
Indeed.
And hack the planet!
Hack the planet! Greetings to the Trace 5 folks, like to Christian, who's in China. He stopped streaming Netrunner and he's in China. So he's hacking the planet from China. Take care, good folks. Have a good night.
Cheers, good night.